All right, guys, we've entered a new phase. We've entered a new phase of our interaction with our own government. I'll explain more about that in a minute. Guys, welcome in. Welcome in. We're going to have a big show tonight. Lots of interesting things to talk about, including some very deeply disturbing things, but also a couple of fun items. I think we'll have a couple of fun items maybe on the back half of the show. But, man, as we open, it's going to be pretty deep and concerning because there were some things that we thought we solved in a previous administration or with the first Trump administration, at least, that apparently we have not solved. And I'll explain what that means in the opening a little bit. I'll get into what the problem was, what I think was intended to be done to solve it. And then now we have evidence over the weekend that's broken, particularly with Tucker Carlson, that we have not indeed solved those problems at all. And those problems may be much worse than we thought, actually. So, guys, my leak inside TPUSA is feeding me massive information, and it's fun. I'll admit it's fun. I'm getting all the dirty scoop about what they really think of Brandon Tatum. It's probably what you think. What they really think of Alex Clark. It's probably what you think. People are a little, they put on a nice unified front in public. We'll be honest with you. They do put on a nice unified front in public, but behind the scenes. Yeah, Officer Tatum is not the most well-liked person in the building, nor is particularly Alex Clark. I don't even know that Alex knows what they think about her behind closed doors, but it's bad. It's really bad. Oh, also, the Daily Wire. You could probably imagine what they think about people riding around on midget horses. It's not what you think. It's not as well, it probably is what you think, but it's not what they think, certainly. But it's a lot of fun. We'll put a show together at some point about all this. Got to nail a few things down first, but I just want to give you a little preview of what's going on behind the scenes over there. Also finding out whether or not Erica really is in control or ever was. 6 months after she officially was named the TPUSA chairperson or CEO or whatever she's called. Is she really in control, or is the place kind of running on autopilot without her? It's probably about what you think, guys. I don't even know what to say. We have good instincts. We as an audience, we as a community, we as a show, we as a chat, we have really good instincts on what is really going on over there. So we will discuss all that and more down the road. I do want to jump into the opening tonight because I think it sets up nicely maybe some history and background of some news that broke here over the weekend with Tucker Carlson releasing a video. We'll take a look at that in a few minutes. But the opening really does nicely kind of explain how we got here, and where maybe we intended to go versus where we are. Because if our own government is going to be taking shots at our own Donald Trump supporting podcasters, well, this is going to be a different era. This is going to be a far, far different era. It makes you wonder what's really going on in Washington, D.C. So if you will oblige me, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be happy to give you the opening statement. It's about the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, commonly known as the FISA Court, was established back in 1978. It was established by way of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act by the U.S. Congress. We, of course, commonly refer to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act as FISA. FISA was deemed necessary at the time because of massively widespread abuses in the intelligence community revealed during the 1970s. Nowhere were these abuses more thoroughly documented than by the Senate's Church Committee in 1975. The Church Committee, chaired by Senator Frank Church, investigated illegal surveillance activities by agencies like NSA, CIA, and FBI. These patently illegal searches included warrantless wiretaps on U.S. citizens under programs such as COINTELPRO and Operation Shamrock. While the Church Committee and other investigations at the time didn't solve the problem, they at least highlighted the need for judicial oversight. The hope was that the judicial oversight would balance national security interests with constitutional protections against things like unreasonable searches and seizures under the Fourth Amendment. FISA aimed to regulate electronic surveillance and physical searches for foreign intelligence purposes, at least within the confines of the United States. The court was designed as an Article III federal court, much like the system of Article III federal courts we commonly know as the federal district courts. The FISA court itself would be composed of 11 district court judges appointed by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. They would serve non-renewable 7-year terms. The judges must hail from at least 7 different judicial circuits to ensure geographic diversity. The court's primary function is to review ex parte applications. These are applications where only the government presents arguments, and oftentimes where the target of the application almost certainly doesn't even know the hearing is happening, so that he can intervene and determine whether his constitutional rights should be protected. These hearings typically are for warrants targeting foreign powers, the agents of foreign powers, or individuals suspected of espionage, sabotage, or terrorism. These warrants cover electronic surveillance, physical searches, access to business records. FISA court proceedings are classified. They're conducted in secure facilities, allegedly to protect sensitive information. Unfortunately, the FISA court itself has become little more than a rubber stamp, approving almost anything brought before it. For example, from the years 1979 to 2012, the court approved almost 34,000 warrants. They issued only 12 total denials. That's a 99.97% approval rate. Worse, emergency authorizations can be granted by the Attorney General alone, no judicial oversight. But they must be retroactively approved by the FISA court within 72 hours. So much for judicial oversight before your constitutional rights are violated by the executive branch. Early developments included minimal rejections until 2003, underscoring the court's deference to executive branch assertions of probable cause. The USA Patriot Act of 2001 expanded and broadened FISA's scope. It allowed surveillance where foreign intelligence was only a significant purpose rather than the primary purpose. This shift facilitated somehow even smoother and more frictionless integration between intelligence and law enforcement. In the lead up to the 2016 U.S. presidential election, U.S. intelligence agencies and the Department of Justice, dominated by Democrat appointees, launched multiple investigations into the potential ties between Donald Trump's campaign and Russian operatives. The primary operation was codenamed Crossfire Hurricane. Crossfire Hurricane was initiated by Democrat James Comey's FBI on July 31, 2016, shortly after the Republican National Convention, and shortly after it was clear Donald J. Trump would in fact be the Republican nominee for president. The alleged reason for launching Crossfire Hurricane? It was a single, unverified, and uncorroborated tip from Australian diplomats about a Trump campaign advisor you've never heard of, a guy named George Papadopoulos. Papadopoulos had reportedly been informed by a Russian-linked professor that Moscow possessed damaging information on Hillary Clinton. This included thousands of emails. This knowledge prompted the FBI to probe whether Trump associates were coordinating with Russia to influence the election. Crossfire Hurricane involved surveillance, intelligence gathering on several Trump campaign figures, including a key campaign volunteer, again, that you've never heard of, named Carter Page. Page was a volunteer foreign policy advisor to the Trump campaign with prior Russian contacts. In fact, from 2004 to 2007, Page worked in Moscow. He served as the VP at the Merrill Lynch office in Moscow. He advised on key transactions involving Russia, Ukraine, and others. In 2013, Page met with a junior Russian diplomat at the Russian consulate in New York about what Page described as the energy business. Also in 2013, Page served as an informal advisor to the Kremlin and helped the Kremlin prepare for the G20 summit that year. These contacts and others were sufficient at the time for the U.S. government to seek and get a FISA court warrant to spy on Carter Page. Allegedly, they wanted to determine whether he was doing anything illegal in his contacts with the Russians. When Trump announced Carter Page as part of his campaign's foreign policy team in May of 2016, the appointment raised eyebrows. because Page's perceived lack of foreign policy experience didn't seem to fit the bill. Looking back, one wonders why Page volunteered for the position in the first place. Whatever the reason Page was interested in the job, the FBI obtained a FISA warrant to monitor Page in October of 2016. This was a critical development. A warrant against Carter Page would also allow the intelligence community to spy not only on Carter Page, but also anyone Carter Page talked to, which obviously would include Donald Trump. Once the operation began, it quickly extended beyond the FBI. The CIA, under Democrat appointee John Brennan, reportedly identified and tasked foreign allies in the Five Eyes intelligence sharing network. The Five Eyes, of course, being US, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Brennan tasked those 5 countries to surveil 26 Trump associates before formal collusion allegations surfaced. Most people don't know about this loophole, but not only does it exist, it's routinely abused. In short, even with the FISA court routinely granting nearly every single application that comes before it, there are some people the U.S. intelligence communities want to spy on, but just can't justify taking before the FISA court. Enter our supposed allies. Our allies are not bound by the limitations on spying on Americans set forth in the Fourth Amendment and other American laws. They can and do freely monitor private citizens. As the director of a CIA, John Brennan certainly knew this. He asked them to spy on particular Americans and share their intelligence with his office. An honest government, an honest press would identify, shame, and potentially prosecute American officials engaging in such behavior. But apparently we have neither. In all, Operation Crossfire Hurricane, including the domestic FISA spying and the alleged Five Eyes spying, included monitoring the communications and activities of Americans abroad and raised what should be obvious questions about this domestic spying on a presidential campaign. Reports suggest Brennan briefed President Obama and top officials on these efforts. This raises the question of just how many people were aware of this effort. How high did it go? The Department of Justice played a key role in this complex scheme to spy on an American presidential campaign. This included the Attorney General's office. They had a role in approving FISA renewals to continue spying on Carter Page and, don't forget, by extension, other Trump campaign officials. These applications were certified by officials like Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. A report by the Justice Department's Officer of the Inspector General revealed at least 17 significant inaccuracies or flat-out lies across 4 applications. These inaccuracies or lies included omitting exculpatory evidence that would have undermined their application to continue spying. In other words, the report found there was information available that showed the warrants were unnecessary, and the Attorney General's office intentionally failed to include this information in their application to the FISA court. This obviously fueled claims of bias and even led to an FBI lawyer later pleading guilty to altering evidence in order to make the FBI's case. These actions obviously strained relations between Trump and the intelligence community. The accusations of a deep state conspiracy came to life. And what else could it be? Permanent Washington, D.C. bureaucrats concocted a scheme to spy on a presidential campaign, probably in an effort to develop information that would defeat the candidate. There's nothing more deep state than that. But perhaps the most damning information to come from the entire ordeal. It was an April 2017 memorandum and order from the presiding FISA court judge. Her name was Rosemary Collyer. Her order addressed significant compliance issues in the NSA's application of Section 702 of the FISA amendments. It focused on unlawful searches and an institutional lack of candor by the NSA and the FBI. Let me explain what I mean. It's with the 99-page ruling. It was not small. It stemmed from a compliance audit. The compliance audit was initiated by NSA Director Admiral Mike Rogers. He wanted to know about database searches from just a 6-month period, a random 6-month period, November to May 2015 to May 2016. It revealed that approximately 85% of FISA 702 queries were non-compliant. This means they violated the rules designed to protect U.S. people's privacy. These violations involved unauthorized access to raw data, involving communications from American citizens that are incidentally collected during foreign surveillance. Collyer emphasized two query types: the FISA 702.16. This is to and from searches, meaning you can target direct communications, emails, phone numbers, whatever, with to or from. It's from this person or it's to this person. That's set one. Set two, it's much broader. These are the about queries. This is like keyword searches, just mentions in social media, indirect links, anybody who's used a particular word or phrase. And this latter category proved particularly problematic. It led to the acquisition of multi-communication transactions, where U.S. persons' data was swept up without warrants. The opinion, Rosemary Collyer's opinion, noted repeated queries on the same identifiers over various periods. This indicates deliberate, targeted monitoring of particular people. This is not isolated. These are not isolated errors. Moreover, the government admitted it could not give a number. It could not give the total number of unlawful searches since 2012. This obviously suggests a massive problem, a potentially massive number of violations over the years. No evidence the audited period was anomalous. A key focus was the role of private contractors. Think political operators. We learned in the Collyer opinion, these private contractors had unrestricted access to a raw NSA database. I'll repeat that because it's so shocking that I can't believe it ever happened in the United States. There were private contractors who had unrestricted access to a raw NSA database. That means your phone calls, your text messages, your emails, your Google searches, your browsing history. These private contractors conducted queries exporting data well beyond what was necessary. That's a polite way to put it. They shared unminimized information. Again, a very polite way to say they're spying on private citizens. They obviously were not redacting U.S. persons' identities. And they shared it with unauthorized parties, meaning people who didn't have a right to access the data were accessing the data and sharing it with people who didn't have a right to access the data. This is blatantly illegal. It is massively unethical. And it obviously, very obviously, destroyed the Fourth Amendment rights of Americans not to have our private phone calls, emails, Google searches, and other electronically captured information reviewed by anyone without a warrant. To make sure this is not all lost, I'll repeat it again. Raw FISA data was searched and shared by private contractors and your government employees, and it had no proper oversight. Judge Collyer highlighted in a footnote on page 87 that these actions reflected deliberate decision-making, not mere oversight. Again, a very polite way to put that these people are criminals. The ruling, Judge Collyer's ruling, criticized the DOJ and the FBI for repeatedly misleading the court about the extent of these practices. They described an institutional lack of candor. No prior notice was provided until 2016, despite violations dating back to at least mid-2012. And I'll come back to that date in a second. Upstream collection, which scans internet backbone traffic, exacerbated issues by acquiring communications of private Americans and not limited at all to whether their communications were directly to or from targets. It's led to improper labeling, querying of data. Nearly all upstream internet communications were mislabeled. It enabled prohibited searches of private American citizens their entire electronic lives. Collyer noted these incidents as presenting the greatest level of constitutional and statutory concern. I would add, perhaps, The phrase in history, the greatest level of constitutional and statutory concern in history, to the end of that sentence. The opinion tied these abuses to potential political surveillance by highlighting the database's exploitation for non-national security purposes, though it certainly didn't have to be limited purely to politics. Every business leader, every activist, every other private citizen could have unknowingly been targeted and picked up in these searches. And that's really the point. We, the plebes, are often mystified by the constant globalist push of our business leaders and elected officials. We have judges who seem to be on our side when they get appointed, but they quickly turn into globalists, and almost every single time. We follow good and honest media personalities who suddenly turn into massive shills for globalists and corporatists. We scratch our heads and wonder why. We ask how we, the people, keep getting fooled time and time again. Well, perhaps our answer has been staring us in the face for the better part of a decade. Perhaps private contractors and government officials have been reading our most private thoughts, our secret searches, our hidden messages. Well, actually, not perhaps at all. We've been told they're doing it. A judge, Judge Rosemary Collyer, outlined in meticulous detail that they're not only doing it, but they're doing it over and over and over again to an untold number of American citizens, illegally doing it, I might add. And that is your opening statement. The only thing I would add to that is that mid-2012, I don't think is a random number. I don't think mid-2012 is random at all. If you remember, if you go back to the Obama years, the Democrats got awfully confident there for a while. They got very confident. And there was this idea, and I can't remember the congresswoman. There was a congresswoman, can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she said that they'd never lose another election because Barack Obama had a secret database or a secret search engine or something where he could get any information. This is what they're talking about. This is what they were doing. When you think private contractors, think the worst human beings you know. I'm not talking about private contractors for the FBI. I'm talking about political people out there trying to spy on judges to get judges to rule their way, out there spying on senators to make sure senators continue voting the right way. 2012 was wild. And had Donald Trump not won, it would have continued forever. It would have continued forever. And so you look back and you think, Trump, he hasn't been ideal, certainly not this go round. But you got to understand where we were. A Hillary Clinton president could have been the nail in the end of society as far as we know it, the way we've expected it to be and the way we've experienced it the last, 8-9 years. I think it would have been a fundamentally different place. And all this, I thought about this tonight. I thought about the opinion because I thought about what Tucker Carlson put in his video, and I'm going to play that in a minute, but I want to pull up real quickly just a piece of Rosemary Collyer's order because I want you to see her actual written word here. I got to scroll down to page 80. Is it 82, 87? Hold on. Let me find it here. Here we go. Page 82. You got to see this. Make sure you don't think I'm making this up. This is a tool. This first redaction right here, I'll make this a little bigger. This first redaction right here, this first black thing, this is the name of the tool, meaning they have a secret tool you don't know about. They won't even tell you what the name of it is. But that tool has all your stuff in it. NSA examined all queries using identifiers for U.S. persons targeted pursuant to sections 704 and 75B of FISA using the blank tool in blank. Based on that examination, NSA estimates that approximately 85% of those queries were not compliant with the applicable minimization procedures. This is so sanitized. A non-compliance rate of 85% raises substantial questions about the propriety of using this tool to query FISA data. You think? They're unable to provide a reliable estimate of the number of non-compliant queries since 2012. In other words, they are unable to tell you a reliable estimate of the number of human lives that have been turned upside down, the number of human secrets that have been exposed, the number of human Google searches, weird websites you guys go to, text messages you don't ever want anyone reading, emails you wish you'd never sent, websites you wish you'd never visited. They're unable to tell you an estimate of how many of those were captured by political operatives and private contractors and government employees. And you wonder why some of these people act the way they do. You wonder why Lindsey Graham is so sold out for particular causes. You wonder why Mike Huckabee is a big goober. That's being polite. You can only imagine what his searches look like. The improper access granted to the contractors was apparently in place, blah, blah, and seems to have been the result of deliberate decision-making. That's the footnote. That's the footnote. It was deliberate. They intended to do this. This was the point of the program. The entire point was to make sure we could compromise people. Now, I bring this up in the context of Tucker Carlson because how do you think they got his text messages? How do you think they got his text messages last time? You remember in 2021, 2022 maybe, he was trying to set up an interview with Vladimir Putin, and he couldn't because someone got a hold of his text messages and leaked them to the New York Times. Vladimir Putin got spooked and backed out. And I want to tie it back to Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is sending text after text after text to people saying, I'm scared. These are only the ones we know of. What did he say to people we don't know of? What did he say about his true intentions for his political causes, his political conversions, the thoughts and changes he was having on foreign policy and certain allies? And if you think this was in 2016, 2017, if you think this is getting less invasive in the era of AI and LLMs, you're out of your mind. They can now study this stuff in real time. They don't have to have anyone search a database. It searches itself. It lets you know when there's a problem. I'll give you an example. This is not a government example, but it's an example of how these systems work. There was a teacher, a fifth grade, third grade teacher, something like that. And one of the students came by and closed her laptop, and she was frustrated by it. And she sent somebody a Snapchat message like, I'm going to take out this student or whatever, however she worded it. Without any human intervention, Snapchat alerted authorities. They came and arrested her. She lost her job. Maybe it was a student teacher or something, but she lost her job over it. Can you imagine what red flags these things are finding? Because nobody has to sit and say, wonder what Tucker Carlson's talking about. We ought to look in the system and see who he's talking to. No, they don't have to do that anymore. Wonder what Ben Shapiro Googles. We don't have to do that anymore. Wonder what kind of weird stuff Brandon Tatum's into. We don't have to ask. We don't have to ask. We just grab them right here. We got them because we have a system that stores all of this stuff that's accessible. And with this is all pre-Chat GPT and AI and search. This is just human beings used to have to go back and type in keywords and type in names and type in date. I want to know everything between Roger Stone and so between this date and this date. And then you have to wait for it to run. You don't do that anymore. Those days are over. You guys have these things probably attached to a lot of your email accounts or other accounts where every morning it gives you a rundown. At least I do. Every morning it gives you a rundown of everything that's in your email inbox. Don't forget to check this email that came in at 3:22. It looks important. There's no human being writing that. That's some AI program that knows what important emails sound like. Don't try to trick it. Don't write stuff that you think sounds important just so my little AI assistant will find it. I already have enough problems. I already have enough problems. But this is 10 years ago. What's hilarious to me is if you go to the Section 702 section from the United States government, it'll tell you that 702 authorizes targeted intelligence collection of specific types of foreign intelligence information. Only permits targeting of non-U.S. persons who are reasonably believed to be located outside the United States. And it gives you all this fluffy, nice language about you don't have to worry about the big bad federal government. It's subject to extensive oversight. Oh, okay. Yeah, we've seen what that looks like. It's a FISA court that rubber stamps 99.97% of all 99.97% of all applications. 34,000 approvals, 12 denials. That's your extensive oversight. The Attorney General must approve the target. Oh, okay. But what if, as we saw in the Donald Trump investigation, what if the Attorney General's in the tank and they're lying and they're not putting certain stuff on the application? I get heated over this stuff, guys. I get really heated over this stuff. I don't like the spying. If someone calls me on the phone, that, I want to say dirtbag, but he was, frankly. If somebody calls me on the phone, I have a right to presume that person's not recording it. I have a right to presume the cell phone company's not recording it. I have a right to presume my federal government's not recording it. And if any of them are, I think I owed the common decency that it doesn't get released. Otherwise, the person on the other phone, the other line, or the federal government or the cell phone company is full of dirtbags. Somebody's a dirtbag. Because there should be an expectation that if I engage in a private conversation with you, it's between us. Unless, of course, one of you says, hey, do you mind if I record this? I don't like to take notes when I talk, and I want to go back and listen to it and type up an outline. Yeah, I mean, generally, I'll say, yeah, I don't mind. I don't typically say things that I wouldn't want recorded. But this is a worse version of that. This is a much worse version of that because it's recorded for all of eternity. You don't know it's recorded, and somebody may come along later and use it against you. It's disastrous. It's absolutely disastrous. Well, I thought of that. I thought of that when Tucker Carlson released his video. When was that? Today? Yesterday? Yesterday. Tucker Carlson released a video yesterday. And I do want to run through it because there are a couple times I want to, it's short, it's only a few minutes. But I want to run through it because I want to sort of illuminate a couple of points he's making that I don't think he makes. Maybe he's being polite because he thinks he's being investigated. I don't know. But I don't think he makes them vociferously enough. I might have to don a bad cop hat to make the point. And I understand if he thinks he's potentially going to be involved in legal action, maybe he had to have a lawyer review his script and all that. Happens. Guess what? I don't have to have a lawyer review the script. I'm not worried about anything I'm about to say. So I want to go through his statement here. Again, just a few minutes of it. I want to stop it, 3 times, 4 times? Because there's a couple of points I want to help him make maybe a little more emphatically than he's making.
So the other day I found out that the CIA is preparing some kind of criminal referral against me, a crime report to the Department of Justice on the basis of a supposed crime I committed. What's that crime? Well, talking to people in Iran before the war. They read my texts.
How do you think they got his texts? How do you think the CIA got his texts? I just told you how they got his text. They're spying, actively spying on American citizens. This is what they're doing. Oh, no. Okay, I thought I didn't share it. I thought I had a moment. I apologize. Or did I have a moment? No, I didn't. All right. I just told you how they got his text. He says, apparently they read my text. Guys, there's no apparently about it. And here's the scary part. This guy supported the current president. He supported the current vice president. He is a Trump guy. This is not one of those situations where Donald Trump is running for president and everybody's in a panic back in 2015, 2016, and they're doing anything they can to stop what they deem is the next Adolf Hitler taking over the United States. That's not that situation. And so if they'll look at Tucker Carlson's texts, you think Candace is safe? You think you think Ian Carroll is running around feeling safe right now? And he just told you they're reading the texts of podcasters. This is what they're doing. They're reading the texts of podcasters. That's all Tucker is right now. He's not a foreign policy guru. He doesn't work for a think tank. He's not working for some other he is a podcaster. He has the Tucker Carlson show, and they're reading his texts. Let me keep playing just another 10 seconds here.
So the crime under consideration apparently would be the Foreign Agent Act or something like that, acting as an agent of a foreign power.
This is the famed FARA violation. The famed FARA violation. I want to read you a memo put out by Pam Bondi just this year. This is a memo put out by Pam Bondi just this year. Here's where she talks about the emphasis of the Foreign Agency Registration, Foreign whatever Registration Act, Foreign Agents Registration Act, right here. Here's how she says she's going to interpret it. Now, Tucker Carlson's been told your text messages may violate this. Here is what Pam Bondi said in February of this year. To free resources to address more pressing priorities and end risks of further weaponization of abuses in prosecutorial discretion, the Foreign Intelligence Task Force shall be disbanded. So that doesn't exist anymore. There's no more Foreign Intelligence Task Force. Recourse to criminal charges under the FARA Act shall be limited to instances of alleged conduct similar to more traditional espionage by foreign government actors. In other words, if Tucker Carlson was told that he's being referred for a FARA violation, that means they're going to pursue it, if they pursue it at all, which I don't know that they will. He seems pretty confident they won't. But if they're going to pursue it, they're doing it as he is in espionage, meaning spying for another country. He's a podcaster. If podcasters are going to start being caught up as spies for other countries simply because they're trying to get information and broadcast it out to the news media, broadcast it out to the world, that's a real problem we've got on our hands. This is a huge issue. This is not, I mean, if you just watched his 5-minute video without any background of what happened in 2016 and 2017, without any background of Rosemary Collyer, without any background of all the abuses that used to take place in this program and probably still do, let's just be honest. It's like MK Ultra. They might have said they disbanded the program, but do you think they really did, or did they just rename it and hide it a little better? They might have said they were going to clean up this program, but do you think they really did? They have a tool that's that valuable. You think they're just going to say, oh, well, some judge told us we can't use it, so we better clean up our act. No, guys. They probably got a digital copy mirrored somewhere else, and people are just accessing that one. And the logs over here are just the legitimate uses. I don't know how they're doing it. But I know we're still getting the weird switches from people. We're getting weird compliance from people. We're getting weird instances of people that we thought were pretty good guys who all of a sudden flip on a dime. We saw this in the Charlie Kirk investigation. The first 3, 4, 5 weeks, we had a lot of people going, man, this really looks shady. And then one day they're like, nope, not shady. I believe the Fed slop. Blah, 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 blah. I love Fed slop. I can't get enough Fed slop. Blah, 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 blah. Doesn't it taste like Alpo to you? No. It tastes like filet mignon. Blah, 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 blah. Lobster thermidor. Blah, blah, blah. This is delicious. I love Fed slop. I can't get enough Fed slop. They're not being threatened in the traditional way. It's not like we'll take your knees out. We'll tell your wife who you're talking to. We'll tell your community what you've been watching. We'll show them your face while you're watching it, maybe more than that. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. That's why I trust Tucker. Because he's never changed. He's never changed. Who's changed on the issue? Which major social media people, broadcasters, podcasters, who's changed? Well, Megyn Kelly's not really changed. Tucker Carlson's not changed. Candace Owens not changed. My guess is they can be trusted. Your humble host hasn't changed. What about Alex Jones? What about Dan Bongina? There are others. I won't name them. Those are the two that come to mind most obviously. When someone changes so drastically, so amazingly, so fantastically that you think they've been bought off, chances are they weren't. Chances are they weren't bought off at all. Chances are somebody came to them just like they did with Tucker and said, we've got your texts. We know. Oh, we know. Well, Tucker goes, well, all my texts are just trying to set up interviews and get information out of a pending war zone to try to do my job into the First Amendment, which is to advise people as to what's going on in the world, to alert them of things that might be taking place. I'm not that worried about that. So he goes on there and talks about it. What do you think they went to Mike Huckabee with? What do you think they've gone to Lindsey Graham with? What do you think they've gone to Tom Cotton with? It wasn't just Einstein and Little St. James. It wasn't just the modeling agencies. It wasn't just the cameras in the mansions. It's this too. This is part of the same program. The entire program is to have total mortal stranglehold of control over absolutely everybody. You better have a few honest people that you watch and trust and look to. Because if not, you're left with Ben Shapiro. I wonder what Matt Walsh's history looks like. I'm sorry I said it. I'm sorry I said it. I wonder what his search history looks like. I wonder what his messages, I wonder what his texts look like. He sits there on camera while everybody makes fun of his faith, right to his face. Yeah. Michael Knowles. Condemn Candace right now, Michael. I like Candace. Condemn her by name. Sorry, I'm getting a little more heated than Tucker was. He's under investigation, apparently. I'm not, so I can say whatever I want. For now. For now. Here's two reasons why he says he's not worried.
And I don't expect this to go anywhere. I'm not too worried about an actual criminal case against me for a bunch of reasons. One, I'm not an agent of a foreign power. Unlike a lot of people commenting on U.S. politics and global affairs, I have only one loyalty, and that's the United States, and have never acted against it.
That was a backhand to everyone who has loyalty to someone other than the United States, by the way. But he was polite about it.
Its interests are the only interests I care about because I'm from here and I have a lot of kids. So that's not a concern. I've also never taken money from anybody. Don't need it, don't want it. And that's provable. And moreover, it's my job to talk to everybody all the time and try and figure out what's happening around the world. That's literally what I do for a living. And I'm not going to stop doing that. Nor should I don't think. I'm also an American. So I can talk to anybody. I have no secrets to divulge. So legally, I think the case is ludicrous, and I doubt it will even become a case. I'm bringing this up for...
He said something there that's important, and he didn't elaborate on it, and he doesn't talk about it a lot. Tucker has a wonderful backstop. I think it's why he's been fired from CNN, fired from MSNBC, fired from Fox. I think it's why he's had to hop jobs over the year. And I'll actually give you an example of something somebody said to me one time. When I was in college, I went and worked at a car lot. I went and sold cars, a Chevrolet dealership. And I loved it, by the way. I loved it. I worked with fantastic people. I found it was a deeply honorable profession, believe it or not, despite the reputation people get in that industry. I thought it was great. People were really trying to help people. If you want to help somebody, I mean, helping them get their family around town, helping them get to work and back, and finding them something reliable they could. It's a great job. It's a great job. I had a great time doing it. But while I was there, one of the salespeople, when I first got there, said, "Hey, when you get your first commission check, do you need it?" And I said, "What do you mean, do I need it?" He said, "What will happen if you get a commission check and you don't cash it for a month? Are you going to go broke? Are you going to miss a meal?" I was like, no. He said, "Then don't." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because the managers will notice, because their books will be off for the month. And they'll try to figure out why, when the end of the month reporting comes back, they'll say, Coleman didn't cash his check. What the hell's going on?" And they'll come to you and they'll say, "Why didn't you cash your check?" "Oh, I'll get to it. I just hadn't gotten by the bank." It sends the message you don't need the money. Now, in the day of auto deposit, we really don't have this option much anymore, but it used to be a very effective tool. Your boss instantly starts treating you differently. They can't run over you the way they run over everybody else. You don't need the money. They can't hang your job over your head. If you have to change jobs and miss a couple of paychecks, no skin off your back. They treat you differently. So naturally, I did it. Sold a Tahoe and a Camaro, and guess what I didn't do? I didn't cash the check. Tucker has a great advantage over everybody else. He comes from family money. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking him for it. I'm not calling him spoiled. I'm not saying he uses it to his advantage. What I'm saying is it puts him in a unique position in that you can't hold money over his head. "Tucker, we're paying you $10 million a year. We'll fire you." "Okay, whatever. I'll go get another job." "You might not be able to find a job that pays $10 million. So what? I'll go do something else." He has money. He can't be bought. He can't be forced to toe the company line because he has cash. I think that's an important context here. Because when he went out in podcasting, guess what? Then he was finally free. There was no corporate overlord. Not that they were holding money over his head. He didn't need it. But what they weren't able to hold over his head was approval of particular stories. If you're going on the air every night, you got to say something. You can't have them reject everything you want to report and then go on air and go, "I don't have anything tonight, guys." I mean, it's Fox News. It's 8 p.m. It's the primetime slot. It's the highest rated thing in cable. You got to say something. You have to have a story. You got to have a slide deck that goes up. You have to have a guest that shows up. So that's what you could hold over his head in that situation. But he got, to the point where they even got tired of that and they cut him loose. But I mentioned that to say, if you can't hold his job over his head, if you can't hold money over his head, what can you hold over his head? His freedom. The only thing they have left. The only thing they have left. His freedom. You can take his liberty from him. You can put him in prison. You can take his lifestyle away. That's the new threat. That's what they're saying in this video. That's what he's saying they're telling him. We're going to make a criminal referral because of text messages you were sending. It's a dangerous path to walk when somebody's in the journalism business. A very dangerous path to walk. Let me pick back up here.
A couple of reasons, though, and they're pretty obvious. One is that countries tend to become more authoritarian in wartime. It's just the nature of war. People are dying. The stakes are high. People's emotions have risen to a very high point, to a crescendo. And so there's much less tolerance for any kind of dissent in the homeland. The irony, of course, is the United States fights wars on behalf of freedom, but there's always less of it here in our country during war. So that's a widely recognized phenomenon, and it's likely to happen now too.
Let me expand on that real quickly, because I think it extends beyond war. I think if I was to correct what he said, I would say governments become more authoritarian when you present an existential threat to their survival. Not the survival of the country, but the survival of the people in charge. Take, for example, not just the Iran situation, but Charlie Kirk. Go back to that. There's a lot of speculation that Charlie Kirk was taken out with the approval of at least one or more government actors. Approval, planning, material, whatever, but involvement. Let's say involvement. One or more government actors. That's the whole point of the Fort Huachuca speculation, that there's one or more government actors involved. And governments become more authoritarian in that situation. Tucker's been very cautious what he said about Charlie Kirk, but recently, in the last couple of weeks, he's become less cautious. He has made a few comments that he doesn't think the story adds up. And then his text messages get leaked. And then a criminal referral shows up. I don't think those are unrelated. The federal government's on its heels relative to that investigation. They're on their heels relative to the Iran war, and we'll show you some evidence of that in a minute. So that's one of the things he notices. One of the reasons he thinks this is happening is because governments become more authoritarian in war. I say they become more authoritarian when the government, the ruling party, the ruling people have an existential crisis. If things don't go my way, if I can't control what's being spoken on podcasts, then my ruling may be in jeopardy.
Another point to make that is worth knowing is that the USIC, the intelligence agency, spy on Americans. Now, you probably knew that, and it's been revealed a lot, including by Julian Assange and Ed Snowden, both of whom are threatened with death for revealing it, but everyone knows. But it's probably a little more widespread than most people understand, and it's outrageous. There's no justification for your government, which you own, you're a shareholder in it, you pay for it, to be violating your privacy like this. But it happens all the time. And in fact, one of the reasons that CIA or people within CIA, just to be clear, it's a huge, sprawling, disconnected agency. What it does in a specific case doesn't represent what everybody in the building thinks, but there are some people who are mad at me for my views about Israel. And they have some latitude. And one of the reasons they pass on criminal complaints, in effect, to law enforcement is to justify warrants for spying on Americans. So that is an absolutely real thing.
So there's something called bootstrapping. I don't know if you're familiar with this in law enforcement. It's called bootstrapping. So what they do is they need a judge to sign off on a warrant. In order to do that, in order to get the judge to say, yes, we will let you walk all over this person's privacy because we're pretty confident there's a crime underway. One of the ways they do this is they leak investigation details to the media. And when they see it then written in Time magazine or they see it written in the local paper, then they go in front of a judge and say, look here. There's evidence of criminal activity afoot. We need a warrant to go look a little closer. We need to read messages. We need to tap phones. We need to do surveillance. It's called bootstrapping. You're bootstrapping an argument. You're bootstrapping an argument in front of the judge. Time magazine didn't do the investigation. The Washington Post didn't do the investigation. The New York Times didn't do the investigation. The law enforcement illegally did the investigation. They leaked it out, and then they take the illegal product, the product of the illegal search, what in the law you would call the fruit of the poisonous tree if the truth were known, but they take it and they say, hey, look, there are unidentified sources that are saying this criminal activity is going on. These phone calls, these text messages, these communications. We should get a better handle on this. We need you to sign this warrant. And the judges go, oh, yeah, sign the warrant. And it's terrifying. In other words, the leak itself is one of the goals. And it's what he goes on to explain. I'm not going to play any more of this. If you want to see the rest of it, there's a couple more minutes of his video in here. But if you wanted to see more of it, you should go watch it. It's only about 5 minutes and change long, I think. What is it? 5 minutes and 21 seconds. We listened to about 60% of it, a little under 60% of it. But I think it is absolutely critical to understanding that this never stopped. This never changed. They never got over spying on people. They just moved it to different programs. They moved it to different facilities. Whatever the program was, they've redacted the name. Whatever that program was that Admiral Mike Rogers, who frankly is an American hero, most people don't know who he is. But whatever that program was that he kind of said, hey, you guys need to clean this up. And Rosemary Collyer said, you can't be doing this. This is, to me, pretty direct evidence that this program never stopped, or at least the plan, the the notion that they would just launch into an investigation without any kind of warrant in place. That they would go get a warrant on really flimsy grounds and then start picking up everybody. It never really stopped. It brings me to a poll I saw, because ultimately I don't think this has much to do with Tucker and who he's talking to. I don't think that's what this is about. I think it's more about this poll I'm about to show you. Because if someone came to you right now and said, hey, Tucker Carlson's in the news, what do you think it's about? You would have to guess it's about, he labeled the anti-Semite of the year or something. He's, constantly talking about our foreign policy. War's not a good idea. I think he went 3 times to Trump in the last month or two, trying to get him not to launch this war against Iran that apparently is going very poorly. But if you had to go and somebody came to you and said, what's your opinion of Tucker Carlson? Or you just went to 100 people who kind of casually follow news right now and said, what do you think of Tucker Carlson? Most of them would say he's anti-Israel. He's anti this. He's anti that. He doesn't like our greatest ally. He doesn't want us to go to war. That's most people's impression of Tucker Carlson. But Tucker Carlson's not alone in that. And so what you have is this shift in just a few years, this shift in opinion, negative views of Israel in the United States. Just over 4 in 10 people in 2022 had a negative opinion of Israel. Now it's 53%. That's a pretty massive growth. I mean, it's only 11%. So you say, it's only 1 in 9 people. Yeah, but if you take it as a total in just 3 years, by the way, if you take it as a total of the 42%, it's more than a 25% increase. In other words, out of every 10 people, there used to be just over 4 who had a negative view. Now it's just over 5. That's a big increase. When you're talking about 350 million people, 50 million adults, that's an increase of like 25 or 30 million more people with a negative view. That's 2 or 3 or 4 times the population of that country in of itself. Now let's look age ranges. Look at young people, young Republicans under the age of 50. Who follows Tucker? Young Republicans under the age of 50. That's who he appeals to. That's who watch all his podcasts. That's who listens to what he has to say. That's who he's speaking to when he shows up to TPUSA events. That's who shows up to his speeches when he gives speeches out places. He appeals to people in my demographic. Conservatives under the age of 50. Look at the increase in this line right here from 35% to 50%. Again, from 3.5 out of 10 people to 5 out of 10 people. That is a 15% increase. That is very nearly a doubling of negative thoughts about our greatest ally. Well, but you say, but it only went from 19 to 23 for the 50 plus. Yeah, they're going to die. Those people are on death's door. If you're 86 and you have a positive opinion, your opinion doesn't matter that much, at least not as much as the younger people, because you're not going to be around that much longer. Chances are in 30 years, you're not going to be here. The 18-year-old in 30 years is going to be 48. He's going to have a wife and a job and 4 kids. No offense to our 86-year-old listeners. I'm sure you're feeling spry, but I mean, just time is not on your side. My 18 to 40-year-old listener, 50-year-old listeners, time is more on your side. And because of this big demographic split, right, it's only 2 groups, below 50 and above 50. My guess is the younger you get, below 50, the more negativity you feel towards our greatest ally. Probably also the more likely you are to like and watch and listen to and follow Tucker Carlson. So imagine the damage you could do to that group if you take the single most identifiable figure with that movement and you take him off the board with trumped up charges. I said that on purpose, with trumped up FARA violations, with trumped up espionage violations, and you just remove him from the equation. You just take him off the board. Do you think that 50% goes up or down? Well, initially it may go up a little bit, but over time, without his voice, without his logic, without his platform, without his millions of people tuning in every week to hear what he has to say, that number over time may go down. In other words, I think a lot of people think that the reason that went from 35 to 50 is because of Tucker Carlson. A large chunk of that 15% increase, maybe 2/3 of it, is Tucker Carlson. Yes, you have Candace Owens. Yes, you have Ian Carroll. Yes, you have other people. You got Liberty locked down. You got all these other people, sure, that speak their mind on the issues. But a huge chunk of that 35 going up to 50% probably watches and listens to Tucker Carlson. So he's a natural enemy. Let's go down to the Democrats. The Democrats are at close to 7 in 10 across the board. And there's really no difference in age. There used to be 3 years ago, there was. 3 years ago, it was 6 in 10 young people, but only 4 in 10 old people. Now it's basically 6.5 or 7 in 10 of both. The entire Democrat Party. 7 in 10. So you've lost the Democrats. And if you look at the trend, you're losing the Republicans. Well, this is a real problem if you have long-term ambitions in the region. It's a real problem. If American foreign policy for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years depends on having our greatest ally become a regional hegemony in the Middle East, having control of everything basically from the Straits of Gibraltar to China, if that's your goal, and I think it is, then this right here becomes a real problem because none of it can happen without the full-throated support of the United States. And I use that phrase on purpose as well. None of it can happen without us. And so I don't think this has anything at all to do with Tucker Carlson sending some scandalous emails. I have no idea, or texts, whatever they were. I have no idea what they said. I can't imagine Tucker Carlson said anything crazy. But you remember they impeached Donald Trump because he had a phone call with the Ukrainian president and just asked them, you should look into what we think are crimes that took place in your sovereign territory during the Obama administration with Hunter Biden. You should look into that. That alone turned into an impeachment. It almost cost him his career. And had he been impeached, he might have been charged and put in prison. I go back to Crossfire Hurricane. I go back to the discussions that must have been taking place in government when they decided they were going to start spying on the Trump campaign in order to defeat it at the ballot box. I don't think it had much to do with defeating him at the ballot box. If you go back to 2015 and 2016, if you were alive, if you were active in politics, my friends, we will be talking about this for the next 40 or 50 years. It's a time period that will never exist again. It had never existed before then. It was fun. We had a good time. We got on the Donald on Reddit. We were memeing on Facebook. There were very few restrictions on the internet. You didn't have to really worry what you said. It was a meme war. We had a great time. Put on your hard hat. Let's get to work. We memed Donald Trump into existence. We memed his campaign into reality. We memed him into the White House. They saw it coming. They did not like his positions because his positions were basically, I'm going after the deep state. I'm going to disband all these intelligence communities. I'm going to dismantle the military or make it stronger, but we're not going to war anymore. And it scared them. I don't think the plan was to keep him out of the White House. I think the plan was to put him in prison forever for the rest of his life and maybe his kids too. That was the plan. So if that was the plan for Trump, not to keep him out of the White House, everybody knew Hillary Clinton was going to win. Trump didn't have a chance to win. The goal was to send a message to everyone who came after them. You try this, we will imprison you for life. You'll die broke and in prison, and your kids might also. That was the goal of Crossfire Hurricane, I believe. I'm firmly convinced. I can't state it with certainty. I wasn't in the room. I didn't have the conversations with Obama and Biden and Comey and Brennan and all the. I wasn't in the room. But I look at it and think they couldn't have been doing it to keep him out of the White House. They knew he could not win a presidential election. The polling said it. Everybody was confident. He absolutely couldn't win. The goal was to put him in prison the rest of his life. That was the goal. And so if Tucker Carlson is causing a similar problem, what is the goal? He's not running for president. So they're not doing this to keep him out of office. It's not to keep him off air. He has a podcast. He has a soundboard and a microphone and a camera and some lights. And he can access the internet. So you can't keep him off the air. Not like the old days where you say, well, just have Fox fire him and he will be useless. No, I'm not on Fox. Candace isn't on Fox. Ian's not on Fox. Coach Colin, not on Fox. But collectively, millions of views a day across all platforms. So it's not Tucker. He's not on Fox. Millions of views a day. If you add all those people up, millions of views per day across all platforms. Add in Spotify, Rumble, Apple, YouTube, Kick, Twitch, everything. Put it all together. And there are more. I mean, there are a lot more people than just those. So it can't be just to keep Tucker off the air. Can't keep him off the air. So I go back to what was the goal of Trump? The goal was to put him in prison for the rest of his life. And so while Tucker may smoothly get on the camera and say, I'm not really worried about this. Brother, I would be very worried. I would be terrified. I would make sure you had a good passport and a private plane and a plan to where to go to a non-extradition country. And I would set up my podcast potentially from there. That's what I would be doing if I'm Tucker Carlson until this blows over. Because I don't think they're messing around. Go back to that chart I just showed you. They're not messing around. The goal has always been to have the last several years since they've developed the plan, the goal has been to have the United States control North America, Greenland, and the north part of South America. Have Israel control North Africa, all of the Middle East, over to China, figure out what to do with China over there, but ultimately maybe South Korea, Japan, Australia, combo kind of controlling that area over there. And have the EU controlling their area. And you've kind of got global hegemony in 4 or 5 people. And then nobody can challenge you. That plan falls apart with a guy like Tucker Carlson on the microphone. Can't do it. That falls apart when you have people moving further that way on that chart, or whichever way it is. I don't know. My screen's mirrored. To the right. More closer to the 100%, whichever way that was. That plan begins to fall apart. So I bring all this up to say, we have a history of this. Rosemary Collyer pointed out we have a history of spying on Americans. We spy on Americans not to prevent crime, not prevent espionage, but to affect political change. That much is clear. There's no argument with that. That much has been proven. It's been released. It's been leaked. Like Tucker said, Ed Snowden, Julian Assange, Rosemary Collyer, they've all told us this. Admiral Rogers, they all told us this is what happens. We as a country, our government spies on Americans for the purpose of affecting political change, for the purpose of affecting foreign policy, fiscal policy, social policy. That's why we spy on Americans. Tucker Carlson comes out and says, they're spying on me. Well, guess what, brother? Why do you think they're doing it? Why do you think they're doing it? All right. I want to totally switch gears. Put Tucker to the side. I want to go to a motion that was recently unsealed in the Tyler Robinson case. And I want to raise a couple of issues that I see in the motion. The first issue is that this motion should have never been sealed in the first place. I think the judge is allowing things, and I just pulled the case file today. The judge has so many filings under seal. It's not proper. It can't be proper. This is inappropriate. It should not be happening. The judge needs to get control over this case. He's letting the lawyers walk all over him. So that's the first thing I want to raise. The second thing is, in this motion is disclosed something we didn't know. And it has to do with a bullet fragment, a bullet jacket fragment that was recovered during the autopsy. So I want to get to this. Let me see if I can make this a little larger here for you. So this is a motion filed by the news media. And you got a list of all the people here. Salt Lake Tribune, you've got some podcasters, you've got some, I don't know who these people are, but newspapers, local news stations, just a whole smattering of people, national people, CBS broadcasting. I mean, there's a lot, there's big and small in here. But this is the news media's memo opposing the motion to classify the defendant's motion. So the defendant files a motion, Tyler Robinson. He says, we want this motion under seal. The defense files the motion to keep it under seal, which I think is lunacy, by the way. I'll explain why in just a second. The state comes by and says, what are you talking about under seal? This should not be sealed. This is not proper, Judge. And then the news media jumps in and says, hell no, this isn't proper. So they come on the record. You got this motion to seal all these things. And he says, the lawyer here says, the news media was unable to thoroughly address the merits because defense counsel refused to provide the underlying motion to the counsel, meaning it's so sealed, we won't even give it to the lawyers. That is an absolute, it is such bad faith on the part of the defense. The court finally had to rule and order the defense counsel to turn it over, and they finally did. So I'll say right there, I am rapidly losing faith in Tyler Robinson's defense team, if only because of some things that are disclosed in here. Mainly, everything in here tends to, I'll just spoil the surprise. I'll go ahead and tell you up front what the conclusion is. Everything in this motion tends to exonerate Tyler Robinson. If I'm the defense counsel, baby, I am running with that. I'm providing copies to all media outlets and podcasters. I'm broadcasting it. I mean, you can't go and hold a press conference and say, see, we told you so. Here's all the exonerating evidence. You can't do that. But if you have evidence that's exculpatory in nature, why would you want that hidden? Why? The other side is going around saying it was Tyler Robinson and Tyler Robinson alone. It would be nice to have a little press in favor of your guy. I want to show you the key here. The underlying motion and the evidence it discusses belie any argument that the public access would lead to bias and tainting the jury pool. In other words, that's what the defense counsel argued. If we file these things in the open, the press is going to get a hold of it, and it's just going to make our client look guilty. Well, one, that's not a reason to seal something. This is not North Korea. We don't try people in secret. If you have a better reason, bring it. But hey, it makes my guy look bad is not one of them. All criminal charges make your guy look bad. But here the media is saying that's not even going to hold up. The underlying motion attaches a 4-page ATF report. This is a federal government report, a 4-page ATF report on a comparison between a bullet jacket fragment recovered during an autopsy of Charlie Kirk and a rifle recovered by law enforcement. So this is multiple things that need to be discussed. One is, this is 100% bulletproof, use that on purpose, bulletproof confirmation that an autopsy exists. We long suspected it, but we've not had any legal evidence that it exists. No admissible evidence that exists. I think this qualifies. This tells us that there is an autopsy. And because there's something recovered in that autopsy that's controversial in nature and almost certainly, hopefully, will be used by the defense, the autopsy should come into evidence. So we will probably get details about what the autopsy showed. That's my guess. If this goes to trial, we probably will hear about the autopsy. So that's breaking news item number one. Well, breaking news item number two, really. News item number one is the defense is trying to hamstring their guy, and I can't understand why. I would want all the positive press I could get from my guy if I'm the defense lawyer. For some reason, his defense counsel does not, but that's neither here nor there. The second major news item is there's an autopsy it exists, and we likely will hear about it in trial because there's something in it that each side's going to want to argue their version of. In order to argue your version of a fact in the autopsy, you got to produce the autopsy. So we probably will see this. But what is the conclusion that the ATF report draws on the fragment? The result of the comparison was inconclusive. In other words, this bullet fragment was examined by the ATF, probably put under a microscope, probably looked at all the striations on it, looked at the size, the grain, the caliber, looked at the material it was made out of. You know, inside a rifle barrel, particularly an old rifle barrel, which we're told this is an old one, you've got rust, you've got chemicals that were used to clean it, you've got scrapes that are made on it when you're cleaning the rifle barrel. You might have certain types of pollens and dusts and things like that. The bullet will twist. Different barrels have different twist rates depending on what grain you're shooting. Well, your grain should adapt to the twist rate of your barrel, rather. Your grain should be selected based on the twist rate of your barrel. Let me word it that way. And then that twist will leave certain marks on a bullet as it travels out of the barrel. The chemicals in the barrel will fuse to the bullet because of the intense heat and pressure. It will all become one. It will plasticize onto that round. And then you can recover that bullet. You can examine the rifle barrel and you can make comparisons. Could this bullet have been fired from this barrel? This says it's inconclusive. I think that's probably very favorable. I think it's very favorable. I think it means it probably wasn't fired from that barrel, which raises a whole nother set of issues. We're not going to get to that. Well, we might touch on it here in a second. Here's the key, though. Defense counsel does not explain how this evidence could taint or bias the jury pool. Well, I mean, it could, but it could do it in favor of your client. So why on earth are you hiding this from people? This is the good news. This is what you want people talking about. You want people like me, Blake Bednarz, Candace Owens, Ian Carroll. You want people going on podcasts. You want people going on the news and saying, why doesn't this bullet match? This should be a no-brainer. This should be obvious. Why is it not matching? Probably because it's fake. Probably because the bullet wasn't fired out of that rifle. Probably because the bullet was a fragment recovered from something else and stuffed into Charlie Kirk while they had complete control over him in a car. That'd be my guess if I had to take a stab at what happened. I should have said take a shot at what happened, but I screwed that one. Instead, the defense argues the evidence is exculpatory, meaning exculpatory evidence tends to say your guy didn't do it. And here is the quote from their brief, the defense brief. The bullet jacket fragment evidence in this case is material exculpatory evidence within the meaning of trombetta and not merely potentially useful evidence within the meaning of Youngblood, because here the ATF examination has already revealed that firearms, not just rifles, produce a general rifling characteristics similar to those observed on the Exhibit 6A bullet jacket fragment, include numerous makes and models, and that an examination of individual characteristics did not reveal incriminating evidence. The evidence thus possesses an apparent exculpatory value. Again, you have exculpatory evidence and you're hiding it? You're not letting us see it? You're not wanting us to look at it? Why? Why? I mean, granted, it's probably improper. If we're being honest, it's probably improper to try to taint the jury pool. But both sides do it in every public case. It's just natural. Both sides do it. Lawyers get up there. I am so confident my guy didn't do it. We can't wait to get to trial and prove our case. You're tainting the jury pool. That's what you're doing. That's the point of your statement. I look at this, and the defense lawyer in me says, I can't understand what they're doing. The skeptic in me says they don't want this out there. I sat here and did my little thing where I look at the wall. I look at that wall. I look at it a lot. The skeptic in me says, if they're trying to pressure him or prepare him to accept a plea deal, they don't want his family. They don't want his friends, and maybe not even him, to know the existence of this exculpation. They don't want him, his family, his friends, the news media, the podcasters. They don't want anyone to know this exists. They want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to have it in the hopper as they push this thing towards trial on the off chance it ends up in trial, and they want to do their best to get their guy off. But they don't need the added pressure and the added questions if he ends up taking a life without parole deal. And people go, what do you mean? The bullet didn't match. Because that's the first thing I'm going to say if he takes a deal. What are you doing? The bullet doesn't match. The bullet doesn't match. And you got witnesses saying the shooter had long hair. And you have a gun that, when's the last time he shot that gun? And who zeroed it in? And how did he get it on the roof? I don't see it. Like, there's so many questions. But the bullet doesn't match is a massive question. It's a massive hole in the prosecution's argument. It's a massive hole in the Fed slop narrative. It is a problem. But if you're trying to reserve the right to talk your guy into a plea, for whatever reason, I'm not going to speculate as to why they might want to talk him into a plea, but if you're trying to preserve the right to talk your guy into a plea, this is not good information to be in the public sphere, because right now you got a problem with people like me. Because as a lawyer, I look at this and say, let's go to trial. Let's go to trial. Bullet doesn't match. Wrong bullet. Doesn't match my guy's gun. Nope. Sorry. I mean, the standard is not, well, he might have done it. That's not the standard. The standard isn't, he probably did it. That's not the standard. When you go to trial, you have to convince 12 people to all agree that there's not even any possible reasonable doubt that that guy did it. No reasonable thinking person would have any doubt whatsoever. The standard is you are almost absolutely certain of his guilt. Almost absolutely certain. Bullet doesn't match. Okay, let's go home. He's off. Why didn't the bullet match? It's a real problem. And so I think the only possible outcome I can come up with of why the defense doesn't want this out there is if they plea, they don't want to look bad. That's it. That's the best I can come up with. If someone can come up with something better, email me, realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Here's another thing you're not thinking of. I'll be happy to review it. If I'm wrong, if you change my mind, I'll go forward with it. I'll admit it. I don't want to be on the record being wrong. I want to get this right. I don't think he was shot. I haven't thought he was shot. I've gone through so many iterations of what I believe in this case. You guys remember when there was a period of time where I was just desperately seeking a makeup artist? And I said, I'm not 100% convinced he might not have been wearing a blood bag or something. I mean, you got to examine everything. You got to look at everything when you're looking at a case like this. Maybe he faked it. Maybe he was going to fake it and accidentally died. I've gone through all of it, guys. I've gone through everything you can go through. Mentally, I've landed on every possibility. Oh, he walked away. He's alive. He faked the whole thing. That was a short period of time. He was in on it, and then they used that against him. Again, short period of time. I've gone through everything. still raise open the possibility of electrocution combined with some sort of an explosive under his shirt, either from the necklace or the microphone. That's kind of where I'm leaning. It's some combination thing. What were the 2 dots on his arm? Did they hit him with something? Was he tased to disable him? Why were people hanging out of the car on the way to the hospital? Remember, on the Sean Ryan show, they said they were doing 100 miles an hour, and someone's hanging out of the car? I'm not buying it. Not buying it. Not buying that at all. Something was going on in that car. Something crazy was going on in that car. You don't drive 100 with someone hanging out of the car. If he was truly dead, just pull his leg up, shut the door. If they couldn't shut the door at all, I don't believe they couldn't shut I think they absolutely could have shut the door. And I think they did shut the door. And at some point, the door comes open for some reason. Raises the possibility. Did he wake up and fight back? Did somebody get spooked and try to jump out of the car? Did somebody say, whoa, I wasn't in for all this. I thought he got shot. And then I don't know. I don't know. But I've been through all of it. And if you're going through all of it, that's reasonable doubt. And if I'm going through all of it as closely as I've looked to it, let's see what a jury has to say. Because all you got to do is put up a bullet and say, doesn't match. That bullet can't be conclusively matched to that rifle. Reasonable doubt, boys. Let's go home. Good night. Close the door to the jury room. They knock 5 minutes later. All they got to do is elect a foreman and say, not guilty, and go home. That's the way I look at this case as presently situated. You can examine everything that's come up along the way. Everything that's come up along the way, you can evaluate. But I think this is such a massive problem that the defense was trying to hide this. Such a massive problem that the defense was trying to hide this. One more quick switch. We've all seen the video. I don't know if it's AI or not. I don't know if it's AI or not, but I want to look at the video as a team, as a group, because this is directly off of our greatest allies, prime minister's Facebook feed or Twitter feed. And people are saying it's AI. I want to be on the record. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Now, what day was it done? You could say this is old. I don't know about that either. But I want to play it real quick. I'm going to play it on mute just because they're speaking a foreign language and I don't understand it. But I want to look at it and the things people are talking about. The first thing I want you to look at is the coffee cup. The coffee cup. See the foam in the coffee cup? People are saying that foam should spill. I don't agree with that. The foam was moving around a little bit. That to me is what coffee does. That's not water, that's foam. And foam moves around a little bit. So I don't know. Trust me, there was nobody more excited about the possible news, but I think we were all wrong.
Fantastic.
I mean, it looks like a cup of coffee. That looks like a hand. That looks like a hand. Now, I will say this. He holds his coffee like a psycho. Look at that. Who holds coffee that way? 2 fingers touching up top, 4-finger all bent up, pinky underneath the cup. I mean, that's like a psychopath, but whatever. And that smile, that doesn't make me feel comfortable. You might see that at 2 a.m. But I look at that, he takes a little sip, and he puts it down, and people say it didn't go down. I think it did. Look, you can now see rim around the top of that foam. It looks like it went down to me. I will say this. He's wearing a Rode mic, shockingly similar right here in the middle of his chest, right above the zipper of his jacket. He has a Rode mic on, shockingly similar to the one Charlie Kirk was wearing when he passed. If I'm the prime minister, I'm a little weirded out when they mic me up with that Rode mic, if I'm being honest. I say, I heard these have a tendency to malfunction.
He got his
hand out of his pocket. The only other real thing I want to point out is he stuffs his hand back in his pocket at one point. I think these are very natural movements, motions. I don't see any AI, anything in here. I will make one more point when we get to the end. What could be but I mean, it looks like a human being. It looks like that human being he's supposed to be. Doesn't look like an actor. It doesn't look like a mask. Sounds like him if you hear it. I mean, it just Now
וגם
he
לראשי
stuffed his
הערים
hands in his
להיות
pocket here,
תמיד ליד מרחב
and when
מוגן.
he does, watch right here. This piece of fabric sort of jumps backwards towards his wrist. And a lot of people have tried to say that looks AI, but it just looks like fabric rebounding to me. Watch, I'll cut it loose here and you can see it.
אנחנו נקל
It just
ככל
looks like
שהדבר
fabric
ניתן.
rebounding to me. I don't know.
ותודה לך על הקפה, הוא מצוין.
And then, I mean, these people all look
לא יודע
natural.
לגבי הקלוריות, זה
I
נראה לי
just don't
מסוכן.
think it's AI. I think it's him.
תודה.
I wanted to be on the record of that because everybody's freaking out about it and say, "Oh, that's evidence." It's now, why would he wait so long? Why is he wearing that jacket zipped up like that? Why does he have the long sleeves on? It's 60 degrees there. He looks like he's ready for an Alaskan winter. I don't know. I mean, it's possible he was injured and he's recovering. He may have some burns or bruises or whatever. I mean, he's like 80. Not like he would bounce back super fast if something happened to him. It would take a few days. So I just kind of wanted to be on the record that I'm pretty sure he's still out there. I'm pretty sure he's still out there. But whether or not they were close to him or whether or not he was injured or something, I can't say. But I think we lose credibility when we all jump on something and we make a conclusion and we start stating things as fact. This guy did it. This guy did X. This guy did Y. That guy's fake. That's AI. You know, if somebody comes in with 6 fingers, all right, let's call it AI. But if you're having to really closely examine and you're looking for one little thing, you know, oh, his pocket moved a little bit. Oh, this, just dial it back. Just say, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know is an okay answer to most every question. You're allowed to say, I don't know. No one's going to get mad at you for saying, I don't know. Nobody. I say, I don't know all the time. You guys put up comments. It's got all kinds of abbreviations. And then I don't know what you're talking about. You don't lose credibility when you don't know something. All right, let's take some of your comments here. See what you guys have to say. I have a hard time getting my husband believing in my conspiracy theories. It's because you're calling them conspiracy theories. Don't call them conspiracy theories. Oh, then you lead with one that's been disproven. But EK's voice on that alleged call perked him up. I don't think that's her. I don't think it is. I think it's the timing doesn't work. I think she'd have been like a young teenager in that call, based on where it was and the time it allegedly was. Plus, as the call goes, I'll admit they had me in the first half. The first half of that phone call, I was pretty convinced it was her. And then it started sounding deeper and the affect started changing a little bit. And I became pretty convinced it wasn't her. And then when I heard the time period that it allegedly was, I think like 05, 06, she'd have been like 15, 16. She wasn't living in New York setting appointments for Einstein. But back to your first part, stop calling your stuff conspiracy theories. It's not a conspiracy theory that we didn't land on the moon. It's not a conspiracy theory that the old kingdom didn't build the Great Pyramid. It's not a conspiracy theory that it was a power plant or it was something else, that it wasn't a tomb. Those aren't conspiracy theories. It's not a conspiracy theory that Lee Harvey Oswald didn't kill JFK. These are just facts. These are just facts. Give it enough time, you'll see. It'd be great to have Bear Nights meet up around the country. I'll let you guys plan that. I don't want to have anything to do with that. I mean, I don't want anything to do with planning it. I'm too busy. But thank you. Username sucks9. I never thought I'd have to say that. World War II, a religious war. They never taught us that it was, but I'm starting to spot some striking similarities between World War I, World War II, and Iran War. I will say this, World War II killed a lot of Christians. Perhaps as many as 50 million Christians. Which at the time was a substantial percentage of the Christian population around the world. So, also killed a lot of Jewish people, which was a substantial percentage of them. So, I don't know. It's possible that that both sides kind of took heavy losses. But Brandon, have you ever questioned what Trump might have known before September 10th or if he gave the green light or offers protection to the people involved afterwards. Thoughts? I have. I highlighted in one of my shows the phone call he had, I think just a couple of 3 hours before, with Emmanuel Macron. And if you look at Emmanuel Macron's calendar going back months, that was not usual, but they did have a phone call that day. And so I wonder. Oh, speaking of Emmanuel Macron, Adfleet nearly killed me today. I'm watching a new video. I'm loving it. Brigitte Macron's in it. And when she comes on camera, she's E.T. And I laughed so hard, I hurt myself. I think I pulled a rib muscle or something. I was not expecting it. It was projectile laughing. Projectile laughing. 3 questions. 1, was EK the one who came out with the steel neck statement? So Andrew Colvett released the steel neck statement. Candace has original reporting, talking to somebody very close to the situation, who has confirmed that Erica Kirk and Andrew Colvett were on a 3-way call at the same time with the doctor. And Erica Kirk was the one saying, are you sure he didn't have a really strong neck, like a steel spine? And then Andrew Colvett releases a statement saying that the surgeon said it, and the surgeon allegedly didn't say it. So I hope that answers your question number 1. 2, if so, was EK also the one that followed up with the frangible bullet statement? Again, according to Candace's original reporting, for people very close to the situation, I think Erica Kirk, also on a 3-way call, might have said the same thing. Is it possible then it was a frangible round? Take that. Do with that what you will. Is that the last version of the bullet to date? I think so. Don't forget, YouTube gets 30% of shekels and 100% of the say-so. Yeah, but they also provided 100% of the advertising, 100% of the platform fees, 100% of the back-end support, 100% of the editing, 100% of the... I mean, look, I'm not one of those people who believes a company offering a service should do it for free. And YouTube offers a service that we all use. I watch it. I watch Candace on YouTube. I watch Tucker on YouTube. People watch me on YouTube. I watch Ian. I watch Coach. I watch Jesse. I watch Clint. I watch Matt at Trigger Smart. I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube. Have for a long time. I have no problem with them making a little profit for providing me that much entertainment. I'm sorry. I don't. How are we going to find all these people if nobody offers a platform? So there's a reason people use it. It's convenient. Did you see Alex Jones on Jimmy Dore the other day? I did. I watched the whole thing. It was something. Talk about chaotic and spiraling. Love how he helped prove your mentions of straw manning. One is, I like Jimmy a lot. I should have mentioned him and the people I watch. I watch a lot of Jimmy Dore. And I've enjoyed the few times he's had me on. I've genuinely enjoyed it. His team makes it easy to be on a show. Alex is in a weird spot. I don't know what he's going through. He's going through something. Has to be. You mean TPUSA has a Blake Neff style of opinion on Officer Tatum? No, I don't think it's race related. I think he's sensitive, maybe, temperamental, perhaps. Opinionated. And I have seen the messages. So they can't act like they didn't say them. I got copies of them. So they have so many leaks inside that place. Let me tell you right now, the leadership of TPUSA is so unpopular with the people who work there that they cannot get to people fast enough with damning information. And we're just making a collection of it. I don't know what we'll do with it, but one day we'll use it. One day we'll have a lot of fun. But I wouldn't want to be some of these people when we decide to have some fun. And they need to dial it back a little bit, or else maybe we'll start dribbling it out a little bit. Actually, Harvey, I just bought a pair of running shoes. I wore the last one out running for the hills. Oh my gosh. Harvey, she's putting it to you, brother. I feel so bad for this couple. feel so bad. If you've not been following the Harvey drama, you're missing it. There were like 4 shows worth of this. It's been great. Hi, Brandon. I used to be obsessed with Adidas as you are. Then I went to work for them. That killed it for me. Well, yeah, that happens, but I don't work for them. I just find they have high quality sportswear. I wear their socks. I wear their sweatpants. I wear their joggers. I wear their hoodies. I wear their t-shirt. I love it. I love it. Can't help it. I mean, I'm not shilling for them. This is not a paid spot. They don't give me anything. They don't ship me merch. I've never talked to an employee other than you. I've just been a fan for 40 years, 45 years. Happy Sunday. You know, some people are like that with Nike or Under Armour or Reebok. I just happen to like the trifoil. Abbas Shalom, Daddy's home. Can't spell Sabbath without Abbas. Yeah, you can't, but it's kind of jumbled up. Thank you. Have you considered replacing Trump's picture? I'm not going to replace him, so you guys can stop. Or do you hate the Kansas Jayhawks too much to do that? I'm bitter about some of the tournament losses over the years. Now, 2 of Indiana's national championships were against Kansas in the finals. So, granted, not to sprinkle salt in your wound. But no, I'm still bitter about the mid-90s. I mean, there were a couple of really tough losses. No, I don't. Just not going to have it. We liberals love you, Aaron. You should acknowledge the fact that we are all high IQ and support you and loves Candace too. We love the truth. TW Go Max. I'm not going to be a liberal anytime soon. I do have probably some liberal tendencies. I'm very anti-war. That used to be a liberal position. Not so much anymore. Very anti-death penalty. I spent a year as a vegan. Oh, that was tough. I lost seriously 50 pounds. Hard to keep protein down that was a long time ago, 25 plus years ago. And I have a very high view of the civil rights era. That tends to be more of a liberal position these days. I don't know why. I think treating people equally should be fairly standard American behavior, but apparently people disagree. But when it comes to things like economics, foreign policy, outside of war, I do not favor the liberal position at all. But thank you for watching. I appreciate you joining us. And for the few positions you guys have that I've adopted, okay. I've been told I'm a bad Republican, so maybe we have a lot more in common than I think. Hi, everyone. I've been a fan since Google Trends show. Baron, from your biggest fan from Cape Town, South Africa. I'm finally catching you live as I'm in China on a work trip. Do you work for Formula One? Because that's where they were this weekend. I won't spoil the ending if you guys haven't watched it yet. I won't spoil the ending. But you guys probably know what happened. But Baron, it's an honor and a privilege to watch every live show you do for us. I never miss one. Go back. 2 months of membership. We had a member show Friday. It was kind of fun. If you're not a member. Shabbat Shalom. Is BB still home? I think he is. It's consumed my feed for the last 2 days now for whatever reason. I tend to think he is. I don't know. Erica and JD Vance look like siblings. Surely someone has gone down that rabbit hole already. A lot of people have. I don't buy it, but a lot of people have. Look at Fleet chunking a membership out to somebody. You're going to enjoy that, whoever that is. 2 weeks ago, I was critical of you overhyping your show. I don't try to overhype my show. You gave me a chance to refund my super chat. No way. You easily got a top 5 show among all podcasts, and I'll continue supporting. Go back. Look, I don't want anyone to think that, I thought that was a big show. If you disagreed, that isn't going to hurt my feelings. I do try to put together content that I would watch. I try to run, when I worked at a company and ran a department, I tried to run the department in a way I would want to work there. And that is a lot of autonomy, very few unnecessary meetings, a lot of just accountability, but not oversight, if that makes sense. Broad oversight. I want to know the big things you're working on, how you carry it out. I don't care, frankly. I don't want to know about it. But I want accountability in that you tell me what we're going to accomplish this week. And by the end of the week, I hope we've accomplished it. If not, then we've got a problem on our hands and we'll address it next week. But I've tried to run companies the way I would want to work there. I've run a few companies and a department at a recent company and then 2 of my own that I ran. And I guess this one now. And I try to put on shows that I would watch, that I would want to watch. And I don't try to overhype things if I can avoid it. So thank you for your kind words. Baron, my first super chat ever. Incredible work. Keep going, Max. Thank you. April May says, first ever, huh? I remember my first. It was hard to find the little super chat button. This new character limit on super chats is terrible. Told you I'd be critical. All right. Welcome back to the club. Welcome back to the club. Do you think Indiana University will ever get rid of the Kinsey Institute? Probably not. Probably not. They should. They should. Actually, I did a maybe that's a different day. I went to IU. I've been trying to reach you regarding your car's extended warranty. You found me. Look into Harpole. You know, that was all AI training, by the way. Look into Harpole's training team at Marfridge, Texas Ranch. Shares private airport with Amigos for Christ Charities. All are helping kids. That's a good tip. That's the kind of tip I like. Thank you. Has anyone challenged the constitutionality of FISA? Yes. They've not been successful. Thank you, by the way. I think Karen Reed case is worth an opening on corrupt system. I keep hearing that. My sister was shocked the other day when I hadn't heard of Karen Reed. She said she'd failed me. My sister's a true crime junkie. When I got married, we said now and for all eternity, not till death. That's my loophole. Oh, I got bad news for you. I got terrible news for you. Have we all become this soft that we won't even fight back now? 2% tax and we went full metal jacket. And now I'll be in a mood if they arrest Tucker. I'll be in a real mood. You guys will see it. That'll probably be a show YouTube has to take down if they arrest Tucker. I'll say it, and then they'll take the show down. And I'll just accept it. Representative Luna holding up the FISA with others until SAVE is passed. Can this work? No. The deep state always gets their way. Hunter's parents were interviewed twice on local TV in 2021 regarding a weapon brought to school story that was called in by his parents at Lehigh Junior High School. ABC4 Utah, March 4, 2021. Clip that. Thank you. That's a good tip. I had not heard that. I'm not alone in feeling defeated by learning about this stuff, realizing there are no consequences for the person. What can we do, Baron? I am fed up. I don't know. I thought we fixed it with the election in 2016 and the election in 2024, but as we found out, we did not. Baron members chat Friday as a young 1980 baby. I was called our special sub Gen Xennials. We are walkers between the two worlds of analog and digital. Yeah, there's if you weren't on the member show, we talked about I did this late Gen X, early millennial, and we don't really fit in either one, maybe from like 1976 or 7 births until maybe 1983 or 4. We really don't fit in either category. And Gen Xennials, I don't hate it. I'd rather be called something cooler, though. I appreciate you so much. God bless you. Can't thank you enough for talking about this. Oh, well, thank you, Ash of the Dead. I appreciate your support. I thought the Republicans would never win again for president. Obama was Mr. Saul Alinsky. A lot of people thought that. A lot of people thought that was the end of the Republican Party. Trump's been a liar all along. That's certainly an opinion. Sir, your president has topped every gross, unethical thing you stated in your opening statement and more. You believe anyone would have accepted a plane, launched a meme coin, open to money laundering other than Trump? Oh, yeah, I think they would have, and I think they will in the future. Yeah, sure. I have very low views of politicians. Mr. Barron, do you think they released the recording that sounded like EK to have it debunked as a psychological manipulation so CO's new info coming out about EK would also be debunked as well? No, I don't think they thought through it that much. I don't think they thought through it that much. But I do agree it's probably been debunked. I mean, 9% sure it's been debunked. Can I get an extra long Baron, please? I think it's just hilarious. That's all. Thank you. Done. The ratio of contractors in IC is 1 gov, 8 contractors. And there is rarely a limit on what they can access. The NSA audit caused revision or a lot of DOD IC policy, like 5240, still good people trying. There may be good people trying, but Tucker Carlson's texts are still getting intercepted and still being shared. So that's a problem. We didn't have to go through the deaths and lives destroyed to put in DT. Any neocon globalist like a Jeb Bush would have been equal, plus CK would still be alive. I don't think Bush would have shut down the border. And that's not, that's not an immediate thing you immediately see, but I'm telling you, I'm not going to tell you what business it was. I went to a business, an American business that handles very sensitive and confidential transactions. That's all I'm going to say about it. I visited this business. I went to the headquarters a year ago, maybe, right after Trump got elected, whenever that was. What is it, March? Yeah, about a year ago. And I'm in the headquarters of this business, a giant institution, that we've all heard of. And the head guy tours me around the building, showing me the offices, showing me the executive suite, the boardroom, and then we go down into the guts of the place where the plebes work. I don't think there was a single person in there born in the United States. And we're talking thousands of people. Thousands of people. As long as that remains a reality, Trump's administration, in my opinion, has been a failure. Now, I'm not saying every person who's not born here needs to leave. That's not my point. My point is there are a lot of Americans who could do those jobs, and they're not working. And I think priority should be given to them. Period. And we're not talking like super complex stuff. We're talking like basic accounting, basic data entry, basic bookkeeping, basic jobs. And those people aren't working, or they're underemployed. They're working somewhere else where they have these skills that could be deployed for a giant institution and develop a retirement and healthcare and all this. They don't have it. I think it's a real problem. I bet these private contractors are related to I'm not going to say that word, the leaks, the happening, but rhymes with happening leaks. I don't think so. Those leaks, I think, were people who did not change their iCloud password, if I recall. All those people used the default iCloud password, if I'm not mistaken. Just had to let you know my cat's name is Dirtbag. He's all gray and looks like a bag of dirt. Benjamin Franklin said all cats are gray in the dark. Had nothing to do with your cat, but he advocated for older women. Let's just say that. That should be an opening. I'll do a whole opening on Ben Franklin's kinks. He was a weirdo. Not that makes him weird, but he was a weirdo. And I like him. Will you ever pass your Butler research on to another journalist who wants to report on it, or is it too dangerous? I would do that. I'd have to be careful, but I think I would do that. I wonder if Tucker's views on Erica have changed. I don't know if he would say it if they did. First time super chatter, long time listener. Well, since Pastor Rob video. Oh, that's a long time. Excellent opening statement. They got us prepared for this predictive conditioning, i.e. the Minority Report. That's correct. They want us to just accept that nothing we do is private and that we have no rights to anything. That's total nonsense. And notice everything's becoming digital. You don't even have a right to your pictures anymore. Do you realize when you upload your pictures to these platforms, you don't own those pictures anymore? You license them back from that platform? Nothing's ours. We don't buy music anymore. We don't buy books. I do. I don't buy those online books, but all your music you've curated, the day you stop paying the $20 a month, you lose it. I'm not sure that's an improvement. The overseas cable that comes into San Francisco comes into AT&T and splits inside one, goes into an NSA room. This was on Frontline. I believe that. I believe a lot of the AT&T stuff and large telecom stuff is a front. Let them spy all they want then. All they'll see me is me cooking and eating steaks, playing poker, taking care of my woman and almost baby, and pew-pewing in my backyard. I mean, that's a problem, though. I don't like that attitude. I mean, I'm not going to see anything illegal for me, but I don't want to have them overlooking over my shoulders on every conversation I have with anybody. I think that conditions us to accept it. Apply for a job with government. Teacher, you're required to list all addresses you've lived at for FBI background check. No drug test required. I had to do that for the bar, and I realized I'd lived at like 20 or 21 addresses by that time, and that was 20 years ago. Oh my gosh. Is that 20 years ago? Yeah, 20 years ago. I had to list everywhere I've ever lived and every job I've ever had and have a supervisor at that job. I don't remember all those people. Like I worked at a car wash. I don't know who the supervisor was of the car wash. I just made up a name. Oh, he doesn't work there anymore? It's too bad. Coleman, you're a gift to us all. If you could wrap up Charlie Kirk's death regarding who killed him in a nice bow, how would you do it? I don't know. That's what I'm looking at. I wish I knew. Who did it? How did they do it? And why? I think we get closer. But Baron, my wife and I rank you above Candace on our list of podcast produce. You guys be careful saying stuff like that. She watches. Like she gives super chats. Can't say stuff like that. She might be watching. You and Daisy are the best. I got my parents to listen to your show. Can you say hello to Paul and Heidi and my wife, Kira? Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Hey, Paul. Hey, Heidi. Hey, Kira. Don't be talking about the principal. She could be sitting in the class and you don't see her. Sometimes they sneak in the back and just sit right inside the door. Don't get me in trouble. Between Wednesday, Thursday, and now today's show, I'm almost black-pilled. Honestly, don't know how we get out of this. We're certainly not voting our way out. Thanks for all you do, Baron. Christ is King. Stand by. I have some other openings partially written, and they're worse. Wait till we look at Dennis Montgomery. Look, my job here is to educate and inform and entertain. My job is not to give you a platform or a plan on how to fix it. But I think being educated, informed, and entertained on these issues will help you when the fix comes along. Let us not forget the state and others have the ability to hack and place whatever they want on any device. Maybe it's time to get dumb again. That worries me. You remember that CBS reporter, Cheryl? I think it was Cheryl Atkinson. She said she watched in real time as they were adding stuff to her computer or maybe reviewing files or taking or deleting stuff. I can't remember the story exactly, but that's scary. That's scary. In Chicago, had tornado, we saw a Fender floating. A Fender guitar? Oh, a car fender. I'm glad you're safe. Baron, great opening statement. NSA also shares raw data with our greatest ally. I didn't know that. I'm sure they do, but I didn't know that. I think it's Philly's Palantir Software. Go Max. Wouldn't surprise me. I don't know whose it is. Husband asked who Gary was. Told him someone who's tried to disprove Charlie wasn't shot with a firearm test and suddenly is totally in on that theory. Yeah. Yeah. Think he got tuckered? Oh, so Gary. Interesting. I have a complete mirror of your phone here. Do you blink when you look at this stuff? I'm just kidding, Gary. I don't even dislike Gary. That's the thing. I don't dislike him. I don't dislike any of these people, even the ones that attack me. I don't really dislike. I don't much care. Maybe I've just gotten immune to it over the years, but I really don't care. Like, it doesn't bother me. I don't lose sleep over it. It doesn't change my disposition. I don't get angry. I don't care. What scares and I don't dislike him. Like I go back to his old stuff and I really liked his old show. I just wish he'd do that show again. What scares the doo-doo out of me is not just that they're doing the illegal spying on us, but I'm afraid they will make stuff up to frame you if they don't find anything organically. That's obviously a fear we all have. That's a fear we all have. Baron, do you think Rob the Sailor Man is happy to be out of the immediate spotlight? Your fashion critiques were the best. I do, and I don't think it's by mistake. I don't think he's mistakenly out of the spotlight. I think he intentionally left the stage. I think it got a little too hot for him, and he thought, I don't need to be involved in all this. Could this be why we need so many data centers all of a sudden? I'm shooketh. You're shooketh. You're not shook. You're shooketh. Tucker probably cause he made Huckabee mad and so many others. Terrifying. Probably. Baron, never will I forget when the Secret Service showed up looking for my then 17-year-old son because he posted about removing Obama and Black Ops video game. Thank goodness he was 17, 18, and it would have been handcuffs and questions later. Yeah, let's teach our children to be very cautious with what they say. It's not a joke. I had this conversation with my sister years ago when I had little bitty kids. And I've had the conversation with my kids. Be careful what you say by text, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. They're watching. They're always. I just had this conversation with my kids the other day. They're always watching every platform. You can't joke about anything anymore. So don't. Thank you for the contribution. Very kind of you. How are they any different than Einstein? They're not. Same operation. Same exact plan. From one ginger to another, liking every live to keep this high IQ outfit seen. Hey, this is our season. Valkyrie Mama. This is ginger season. I mean, what are we? 2 days away? It's the Ides of March, by the way. We're 2 days away from St. Patty's Day? Come on. This is us. This is when we shine. Liking every live to keep this high IQ outfit seen. Love the Baron Coach banter. My faith continues to grow. Hearing you and your listeners' testimonies. May Jesus keep blessing and protecting this mission. Go back. You notice I didn't say a word about Coach the other morning starting a live and talking on one with his mic off and just running the other. You notice I hadn't said a word about it? Even though our dearest friend, Coach Colin, said that he was using old man Baron technology to go live that day, and it confused him. So who's the old man? I use this technology every day. I use this platform every day, Coach. Don't have any problems over here. No, we spick and span. We're not running a nice outfit over here. Clean. Never go live. Well, I did have the one mistake where I put on the members show a sound check. That was problematic. I wasn't wearing a shirt. So that was an issue. That was not on purpose. That was an old sound check that I accidentally made live. It should not have happened. Other than that, though, Coach, I actually texted him and I called him. I was trying to call him and say, dude, you're on the air. Stop. Because he was saying stuff, this, and he was mad. Like, you're on the air. But he didn't answer. And then he called me back. He's like, what's up? I was like, I was trying to tell you were on the air. He's like, yeah, I don't know what that was. That was great. Wondering if this is what Snowden warned us about. Well, it's certainly the type of thing he warned us about. I don't think it was exactly the same program. If it wasn't the mic, which I still tend to believe, could they have removed the pew-pew round in the car while en route to the hospital? CIK, Crisis King indeed. I think they could have planted one. It wouldn't be hard to just shove something in the hole. That wouldn't be terribly difficult. You've got a completely incapacitated human being in the backseat of the car. You've got complete control over the environment. Picking up a bullet fragment from, to me, if it's a fragment, where's the rest of it? Like, it didn't go out of his neck, so where is it? You should be able to find all pieces. But also, you could pick a fragment out of anything and shove it in there. So the fact that they found a fragment there is not that concerning to me in terms of my beliefs of what might have happened. Did you happen to see Tucker on Pierce? He brings up pizza in a way that makes me very uncomfortable. I did not. I don't think Tucker's into that, though. What if CK joined in willingly when 18 to be a meaningful part of important government secret work that over time became disillusioned? Could he have been taken out for being a traitor to the government, his secret promise to go along? Just speculating. Yeah, potentially. But I don't know. I've always been a little weirded out Charlie had an organization. It was called SOS Liberty. Charlie had an organization called SOS Liberty. And in that organization, he had friends, and they were getting Tea Party stuff and all that kind of stuff. They were booking shows, and he was going on Fox News. But when he met Bill Montgomery, all of a sudden, continuing that old organization was not an option. It was, we're starting a new organization, and they basically wiped that one from the memory hole. And so I wonder to what extent you could be onto something, but maybe he didn't know what was going on. I don't know. I have to dig into that more. But thank you. That's a good point. Sorry for the late question. I logged on late. Keep going, Max. Baron, we pray for you and your family daily. Oh, thank you. Very kind of you. Very kind of you. Oh, it was Maxine Waters. That's who it was. We have a database clip 13 years ago on Washington Free Beacon channel. I think they refer to it as OFA. Go Max. Smash the like button. Yeah, like, subscribe, share with your friends, click the notifications, all that stuff. But yes, that was Maxine Waters. I told you it was a congresswoman, but I couldn't remember her name. 13 years ago would have been what? 2013. Right when this was all going on. That was the database. What we talked about today was the database. The Rosemary Collyer thing, that was the database. Those were the private contractors. That's what they were doing with it. Good catch. Good catch. Allegedly, UK journalist Tommy Robinson refused giving cops his phone pin, quoting right to protect his sources, threatened him with terrorist act for refusing. Tucker wasn't even offered that courtesy. Yeah, no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. But guys, real quickly, if you're worried about that, a couple things. One is you have a constitutional right to not speak. So you don't have to input your phone pin. But they can force you to look at your phone. You don't have a constitutional right to not be seen. You have a constitutional right to not speak. And so if you have your phone set up to face record or face open, then they can open your phone by having you look at it. The numbers are very easy to crack. So if you're worried at all about it, I'm not suggesting you do anything illegal, but if you're worried about your privacy, you set your phone to words, not numbers. And then if you ever have an encounter with law enforcement, you just turn your phone off, because when you turn it back on, guess what? You have to input the password. The face doesn't work. And so then that's a way around the little system. But I mean, it's some forethought and everything else. Now, I'm not suggesting anyone break a law. I'm not recommending that. So if you do illegal things, don't do that. But if you're just worried about general privacy, it's a thought. Why did Charlie fear he would go to prison if Trump lost? Do we know what they had on him? Thank you for all you do. I never miss a show. I mean, we can speculate. We can speculate about the financial shenanigans. We can speculate about illegal campaign activity, but I don't know. I mean, you got to have something. Got to be some kind of crime alleged. It's going to be 57 and love Tucker. God protect him and us. Agreed. 1317 Zach Costello show yesterday. Please watch. That's not helpful. I appreciate the generosity, but it's not helpful. If you tell me what it is I'm supposed to watch, that's helpful. I will say I did watch that show yesterday. So whatever you're telling me to watch, I watched. I like Zach a lot. Zach's a good guy. Picturing an 86-year-old watching at home, hearing you say they're going to die. Sorry, Grandma. Did not mean it that way. But math is math, Granny. No, I'm just kidding. I apologize. I shouldn't say things, but sometimes I just say stuff. We love the boomers in this community. Thanks for your humor and hard work. Well, thank you. I'm glad you recognized that was humor. I was not trying to be vicious with that at all. Just stating facts. Old people tend to die sooner than young people. Reality. Nature of cosmic rays and shortening telomeres. Replies when trying to help the blind see. You're a very sick human. Custer was confident at Little Bighorn 2. Make another tinfoil hat. Seek drug counseling. They want to fry this kid. Edge, I'll be honest. I don't know what you're talking about. But I'm okay with it. Did Trump just invalidate all the pardons? I don't know what you're talking about. Not going to say my age, but love each episode. Makes me think I need to start making funeral arrangements. Queen, if that's a picture of you, you appear to be 38. I think you're fine. Not even. 33. I think you're good. You're good. You don't need to make any funeral. Deep thoughts. Perhaps one day we'll thank Ian for draining the swamp. Charlie might be happy about that. Sunday blessings to all from Virginia. Ian would be a good president, I think. He'd be fun. It'd certainly be livelier. Sorry, I didn't mean to click that one. Imagine having that much power that you can indefinitely imprison a man at his level and his children alone, on that alone. That's scary for all of us. Yeah, but that's the reality. Unfortunately, that's the reality. Baron's Battleship Gray hoodie is equivalent to Candace's battle bun. Keep going, Max Baron. My wife wore a low bun to mass this morning, and I was looking at her in the pew. We had a couple of the little ones with us, and I was looking at her in the pew, and I thought, she's mad. To me, anyone that wears the low bun now, they're pissed. I don't know what she's gonna do. I'm just gonna do this when she walks by. I don't know where she's going. I was afraid she's gonna run up to the podium, take the mic, and start railing on something. I wasn't sure. Don't give her the mic for the announcements. She's got a battle bun on. I was scared to death. Look up Lashon Hara. Critical speech, even if true, is a sin as bad as murder. That's what they accused CK of too. They handled it accordingly. I don't know what I'll look it up. I will look that up. I don't know what that means. Yeah. If polls can shape narratives and elections are questioned, does public opinion on Israel actually change policy? Tired of getting screwed by the government. Oh, I think they're just getting started with you, bud. I think they're just getting going. Remember, they tried to get Tucker in Philadelphia. Jesus Christ is King. Indeed. Christ is King, indeed. They did. I think that when he was taken hostage, we'll call it, in Philadelphia, I think that was a warning shot. Don't come back. That's what I think that was. Baron, thanks for all you do. Your opening statement and Tucker comments seems too close to the exact reason they killed Charlie Kirk. He was waking up while waking up America too. Protect Candace, Tucker, and you. God bless. I'll do my best. I think you might be onto something there. Baron, I'm now convinced that someone in the SUV pew-pewed CK in transit. It was the only way YouTube will let me phrase what I'm saying. Y'all don't get me in trouble on YouTube now. I don't think so. I think that's where his neck was broken, if I had to guess. Baron, why don't you be his attorney? A, I'm not licensed in Utah. B, I've not been asked. C, I don't feel qualified to try a death penalty case in Utah. D, he has attorneys, and he would have to pay if he wanted to change attorneys. E, I wouldn't be able to cover the case anymore. F, I think it would be a huge conflict of interest considering all I've said and done covering the case to date. There's a lot of reasons. Thanks for all you do and the impact you've had on my life. I'm enjoying Rome Sweet Home and look forward to OCIE this year. No more charismatic mocking pastor church for me. Thank God bless Baron. Look, I appreciate you saying that. I genuinely do. And I do recommend Rome Sweet Home to people. But I just want people get in church. Like I am passionate for the one I'm a part of, but people are passionate for other ones. And I'm not a real proselytizer on that issue. I'm more like, just go be faithful, go find a spot. But thank you for sharing your journey. I genuinely appreciate that. Podcasters being censored like horse paste was in 2020. I hope you guys have horse paste, but you can get it right now, and we don't know what's coming down the pike. You might need it. Go stock up. Baron. Christy. New member. First time chatter. My eyes have been opened so much since the killing of Charlie Kirk. Thank you for all you do. Well, thank you for all you do. Appreciate your comment. Can we actually trust any autopsy produced? No. No, we can't. No. Keep in mind, the medical examiner was searched in the same place the surgeons and the judge and the lawyers and Tyler Robinson and Lance Troy, they were all searched in the same place in the same few-month window. But no, we can't trust it. Go back and watch the early episodes if you don't know what I'm talking about. Liked, saved, and shared. Please send this to a friend, everyone. Ask them to do the same. This needs to go viral for Charlie and Tyler, too. Thank you. Well, you're welcome. Thank you. Charlie Kirk assassination is like the JFK assassination. I think it's different. The JFK assassination, everybody sat back and really, there was no crowdsourcing. There was no internet. There was no podcasting. There was just Walter Cronkite telling you what to believe every day. And then the Warren Commission was totally tanked. And it was a long time before people really started talking out about it. And so the Charlie Kirk assassination is totally different. We started like week 1. What's going on here? Why is this not me? Why did you guys pave over the crime scene again? Like, is there a more damning piece of evidence than they paved over the crime scene? They dug up the crime scene and paved it over. No explanation for it. No advance notice it was going to happen. No inviting the defense team to look at it. No inviting independent experts to come and take soil samples and preserve evidence. Nothing. They just stole the dirt, moved it out of the way, put pavers down, threw up some potted daffodil. I rest my case, Your Honor. I just want to say I appreciate you, what you're doing. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you and what you're doing. Autopsy accuracy. How do we know something wasn't planted en route or at hospital? Zero trust, ATF, FedH. Yeah, same, and same. Shout out to my sister for showing me this channel. Yeah, shout out, sis. Now, I can't say your name, unfortunately. Mega, really? If you ever saw Tyler Robinson defense attorney Nestor in current Corey Richards trial, she would make inaccurate statements at times. Even the court corrected her. If I was on jury, she would have lost my trust. Yeah, but you're not supposed to accept what the attorney says as evidence. The court will give you pattern or jury instructions that tell you to disregard what the attorneys say, to only use them as a guide to help you construct the evidence that came from the chair. So, you're believing Tyler has a real defense team, not a corrupt one. Reminds me of the old days when you gave EK grace because she is a grieving widow. LOL, buy Tilly a toy and play with her. Oh, I play with Tilly all the time. I play with Tilly. We beef a little. Daisy always says we beef because she barks at the door. She scratches at the door. She lays on my feet and I'm trying to move around. I'm like, Tilly. She's like, you beef with Tilly all day. I'm like, well, yeah, kind of. But it's a good beef. It's a lovable beef. I haven't decided yet whether I think he has a real defense team. I suppose I do give him the benefit of the doubt. And yes, I gave Erica the benefit of the doubt entirely too long. You're right. I'd rather go to heaven and say, I gave people the benefit of the doubt too long before, and I was snowed in by them, snowed under, whatever the proper metaphor is. Baron, your video, number 39, 4715. Memorandum countering domestic terrorism, and the 4-star general says he would attack us on USA soil. Pray for Tucker. Yes, I forgot about that. I need to go back and play that again. Tucker, watch out. That was scary, wasn't it? If you've not seen that episode, you should. Video number 39, 4715. That was scary. That was scary. Hi, Baron. Hi, Red Dogode. The rep who told on Obama's secret database was Maxine Waters. Yes. In an interview with Roland Martin in 2013, she said she had info on everyone and it could be used in the 2016 election. Yeah, that was her. That was her. I've said since day one, the electro-exploding microphone theory went viral. The government is simply going to pivot, saying that the bullet hit the clip on the mic and a fragment hit CK's neck. Case closed. Theories all debunked. Yeah, that's not going to fly. It's on the wrong side of it. A bullet coming this way and hitting that, it's not going to go backwards. So I just don't know about that. I know Block Poppy Nunca Nunca. You probably just made me say something. I don't know what that means. Hi, Baron. What do you think Erica's messages, etc., look like? And her reversing path on Charlie? Christ is King. Go Max. Christ is King indeed. What do I think Erica's messages look like? I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. Sorry for coughing in the mic, by the way. It's very uncouth. I don't know. That'd be interesting. Do you think he'll actually get a trial, or will it be a plea deal, or something happened to the suspect? Thanks for your hard work, team. I'm like 80% sure he won't go to trial. I hate that. I'd love to see a trial. I'll say this. I'll be devastated if it happens. Devastated. Because it just ends the case. Like, what do we do at that point? It's awful. Curious, why are we even entertaining this? We know it was all fake. We know he didn't shoot him, right? Yeah, I'm pretty confident in that. I mean, I can't say I know it, but I'm pretty confident. Pretty confident. You're right. Hour late. Back to beginning. 20,000 watching, 6.4 likes. Tap that like button. Are we still at 6.4 likes? Are we serious, people? This is unacceptable. What's wrong with you guys? I'll be the judge of that, ma'am. Janie, if that is your real name. Only 8,800. Guys, come on. Tighten up. Hit the like button. It's the freest thing you can do to support the channel. The more people like it, the more YouTube goes, oh, people like this. We should fire it up people's feeds. And then people come be part of our program. Charlie in the truck is reminiscent of Anne Hesh in the body bag. Yeah, that was wild, wasn't it? Did you ever see that video footage? I don't know that YouTube wants me to play it, so I'm not going to, but it's available. Anne Heche gets in a wreck, supposedly dead. They're carting her out of there. And she unzips the bag and starts climbing out of it. And she's naked, I think. It's kind of distant. You can't really see it. But then they throw her back in it and then throw her into the ambulance. She gets to the hospital, and then like a few days later, she's dead. She didn't look dead at the scene. She looked like she was trying to escape. I think you know. Like if you... This is morbid. Not to be morbid, to quote Erica. But if you think about, you're in the SUV. You've lost a lot of blood. You're weak. You don't feel good. Like we've all given blood, right? You give blood, you don't feel great, but you don't die, right? You bleed a pint. I used to have to give blood a lot. You bleed a pint of blood, and you might be a little woozy. You know, you might sit for a few minutes. Sometimes they give you an ice pack if you feel a little lightheaded. And then, but you can still move around. You can still walk. You can still whatever. And so even if you have a hole in your neck, right? Something tore a hole in your neck and you've lost a couple, but you still have blood. I mean, it's not like he lost 10 pints of blood. Probably lost a pint or two. It would be like donating blood. He probably was a little woozy if he came back to. Probably a little woozy, but I imagine once he realized what's going on, it's like, I got to get the hell out of here. And Heche certainly thought that. It's just a thought experiment. Just a thought experiment. That would explain the broken neck, though. In my opinion, the security team was trying to throw Frank Turk out of the car. Frank wasn't supposed to get in the car. If he wasn't supposed to get in the car, the worst thing you could do is throw him out of the car. The worst thing you can do is throw him out of the car. Like, you can't explain that. Far more likely, Brian Harpole was being chunked out because he said he's the one who was hanging on by a thread and someone was holding him in the car. Far more likely they were trying to push him out. Or Charlie, potentially, morbidly speaking this way, was trying to get out. I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I know the doors close when they leave, and all of a sudden they're driving 100 miles an hour, according to Brian Harpole, driving 60, 80, 100 miles an hour on the way to the hospital, cutting their own intersections. I think he said a slick SUV, trying to be all cool. And then the doors open. And cops are seeing it. One's behind him. Says it looks like someone's trying to escape. I don't know. Can you explain how TR has a team of counsel? I thought he was a court-appointed lawyer. I thought he has a court-appointed lawyer. I was in shock to see the incompetence of his lawyers. Yeah, it's not uncommon. I think for a death penalty case, you have to have at least two. It's not uncommon to have 3 or 4 lawyers. I've been on teams. I tried a case with a lieutenant colonel. What do we have? 5 lawyers? 2 private lawyers and 3 court-appointed lawyers. I was one of the private lawyers. There was another private lawyer, and I think he had 3 court-appointed lawyers, 2 majors and a captain. So yeah, I mean, it happens. People have big teams. Big cases get big teams. No cardboard sleeve to keep hands from burning. Oh. You're talking about the prime minister. Well, you think heat and flames really bother him? I imagine when he talks to himself, and you know, we all have a running dialogue. And my running dialogue kind of sounds like me, and yours probably sounds like you. I bet his sounds like, you need to go over there right now. That's what I imagine he sounds like. It's time to get up, Benjamin. We need coffee, Benjamin. You're too tired, Benjamin. Go to the coffee shop, Benjamin. That's what I think his running dialogue sounds. That's what I think it sounds like. But that's just me. Didn't CO say the FBI stopped the surgeon from entering the room to clean up CK? That would be the plant. Time to plant the casing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, do surgeons clean up the body? I don't know. I don't know about that. That whole exchange was weird to me. Like, why would the FBI stop him? Why would... Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right. But I don't know. You're brilliant reporting this. Oh, thank you. Bravo. So glad you're here. You give me chills. How good you are. Wow, Linda. I don't give everyone the chills. Did I give you chills with my Benjamin inner dialogue? Holds coffee like a psycho because he is a psycho. Well, that's a theory there. She was only 16 and these girls were in Palm Beach. Yeah, but at 16, she was a sophomore in high school in Arizona. I don't think she lived in Palm Beach. Listen to Marksplained New York, and he has a lot of great things to say about you. He seems cool. Bummed that he left our queen, but I understand. So I like Mark a lot. I genuinely like Mark a lot. And I saw he was on with Coach. I watched the first part of it. I got interrupted, and I have not finished it. So I need to finish that, and I need to go watch his new stuff as well. So thank you for reminding me. I need to invest some time into that because I genuinely like Mark, and when I like someone, I like to support them. I try to support anybody who wants to do content. I try to support them because we need good people doing content. And if they, if you do 100 shows, you do 200 shows, and you start to get comfortable behind a microphone, you start to get comfortable in front of a camera, you start to kind of come into your own and develop your own style of show and research. Am I a clip shower and reactor? Am I an interviewer? Am I a monologuer? Everybody has their own style. Everybody has their own thing. And sometimes it takes a while to figure that out. There have been several people, I don't have to name them, but several people along the way that have chimed in on this program, said, hey, I want to start a show. What do I do? How do I do it? Or I'm starting a show. Here's my link. Watch me. And I've watched them. And I've given good feedback. I like a lot of what they have to do. Obviously, when you first start, you're a little rough around the edges, but with time, that goes away. And as that goes away, your followers increase. So you slowly over time build up an audience. Someone was saying the other day how rapidly I rose. And I was like, I've been in broadcasting for 15 years. That's not very rapid to me. Now, the curve here the last 6 months has been kind of high. But I paid my dues for years, in relative anonymity. And a lot of people have to do that because you have to develop a style. You have to get good at it. Not saying I'm good. That's not my point of this. My point is to encourage the people who are out there who are like, hey, why am I not getting a follow? Well, it's because you're new. Keep going. Keep putting out content. Put out a show a day. Put out 5 shows a week, 3 shows a week. Whatever you can afford to do, whatever time you have, do it. And over time, you'll get better. And Mark will be better as well. And Mark understands broadcasting from the backside, which is going to give him a tremendous advantage. And he's got some name ID and connections. So he's got a built-in advantage a lot of people don't have. Wasn't it originally leaked by a nurse at the hospital that CK's chest was caved in? Was it? I don't recall. Chest caved in. I have to look at that. Maybe they were beaten on. I don't know. Brandon, do you think it's possible the bullet hit Charlie's necklace and ricocheted into his neck? No, I don't. That's not, but A bullet traveling 2,500 feet per second doesn't hit you in a necklace hanging at the base of your sternum and then immediately take a 90-degree turn and go up to your neck. It also doesn't hit the chain and go up into your neck like that. It would just break the chain and hit your collarbone or whatever. I mean, it wouldn't turn that dramatically. You don't believe me? Test it. Go grab Grandpappy's 30-06, get 142 yards away, dial that bad boy in and hit the chain and see what happens. See where the bullet goes. My guess is it just breaks the chain and keep going forward. And it might turn a little bit, but it's not going to like rapidly turn. That's not, physics won't allow for it. Coercing outcomes. Can you address the potential implied threat of BB gifting gold-plated pager to DJT February 2025? CK Big Bang proved seriousness to DJT. Not a bad theory. Not a bad theory. I don't know what to address about it. You just said everything. I mean, that could be an implied threat. Here's a pager. Don't think we can't get close to you. And then have an example. Don't think voice recording was EK, but the survivor, who many think this probably was, has said regret JE had her recruiting when she was only 16. Yeah, again, though, that woman lived near there. When Erica was 16, she lived 3,500 miles away. I mean, it's just, I don't think it's her. Towards the end, it doesn't sound like her, in my opinion. But I don't think it's her. Hey, Bean Man. Hey, Bean Man. You've changed your name, Bean Man. No longer roll that beautiful bean footage. You're now just Bean Man. Belated congrats. The nights are long, but the years are short. Cherish every moment. They end far too soon. You know, when my 19-year-old left the house, I thought the exact same thing. Like, I distinctly remember bringing her home from the hospital. I distinctly remember. She was born I won't say when she was born. She was born during a sports season. And it's a sport I like. And I remember watching that sport with her on my knees with her head this way, my feet propped up on the end table, and then looking right over her head at the TV. And it honestly, if I had to like say what it feels like it was 4 or 5 years ago, maybe at most. I remember going to, 3-year-old gymnastics when we lived in Boca Raton. I remember taking her to the little 3-year-old gymnastics gym. And sitting there while she rolled around on the mats. And I remember her playing volleyball when she was 8, 10, 12 years old. I remember her, she thought she was Rachel Ray when she was little because we watched a lot of cooking shows. And she would go to her little play kitchen and she would, just a palmful, she would, she would ask me to lay by, because I cut a deal with her. You're running me down memory lane. I'm going to start crying. When she was 2 or 3, I cut a deal with her. She was a staller, right? She didn't want to go to bed. So she would say, lay by me. And I say, I'll lay by you for 1 minute. And so then she started saying, lay by me 1 minute. And while I was laying there, I would kind of write in my head. I like to write. And I wrote a little poem for her in my head about how I would lay there for 1 minute, counting to 60 every night. If I remember it. I count to 60 every single night. To fail would shift her cosmos none too slow. So still I lay, eyes closed with all my might, fulfilling what I promised long ago. Lay by me 1 minute, she will say, without a thought of how it came to be. I renew my promise at the close of each day. The one who fears its end is really me. I might have screwed up one of those lines. It's supposed to be an iambic pentameter. But I remember that. Man, it goes fast. Bean. Goes fast. Cafe posted a pic of him on IG. Yes, that's true. It did. It did. Doesn't AI have trouble with fabric folding his jacket crease normally to me? Christ is king. I don't know. I don't think it's AI. I don't know. That's just my gut. It could turn out to be AI and he's dead as a wedge, but I don't know. Am I going to discuss the Pix CO released on Thursday? You didn't watch Thursday's show, did you? Because I did. I think I did, didn't I? Didn't I pull them up and look at them? Someone talking about a thumb potentially or a blood spot or something. I'm pretty sure I pulled those up. And I talked about having already watched them. Yeah, I think I've talked about them. If there's something specific you have a question about, I'll be happy to entertain it. I think the video is real, but BB looks like he can't walk at the movement. He is shuffling. Well, he's 80. 80-year-old shuffle. No offense to the 80-year-olds. I've already told you you're dying soon. Sorry, guys. This is not your day. It's not my day. I shouldn't have said any of this. But, you don't lift your legs up quite as high. He's not dunking a basketball anytime soon, if that's what you're asking. Oh, hey, honey. I was just talking about you. I love you. There she was, 19-year-old. Apparently, she stopped by tonight. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. Thank you for all you do. I agree. The hour of our time, the legacy of William Cooper, around minute 33, shows driver shooting JFK. I don't remember hearing that before. Jesus loves us. Jesus does love us. So I don't think that's what it shows. I've looked at that video 1,000 times. I even fell into that rabbit hole for a while and believed it. But I think what you're seeing is the driver has a streak of gray hair. I'm not going to pull it up and play it, but look for that. Look at it as if the driver has a streak of gray hair when he turns around. And I think you'll see it differently. Stop bothering Barron about the black box people. Seriously, though, Barron, can you put a framed verse there, a clock or something? Feels like I'm looking at the black hole. That is our government. That's the point. I want you guys to know the betrayal we all feel. This is the betrayal. You guys, it's metaphor. It's poetry. It exists for a reason. Time exists. It's all there for a reason. It's all there for a reason. I don't just mistakenly throw stuff back there. During the motion hearing, to fire the defense team, the expert to fire the prosecution. The expert said there were 5 different DNA on the rifle. Whose DNA, plus the white F-150 by the woods, was in the parking lot of the hospital. I don't think it's the same F-150. I think I've proven that to my own satisfaction. I probably pull up the video and do it again. I don't think it's the same F-150. No, they didn't say who the 5 different DNA were on the rifle. That's to be expected, that a rifle would have lots of DNA, including from the owner of said rifle. I mean, I have rifles. If you grab one, guess whose DNA is going to be on it? Even the ones I've recently cleaned. I still grabbed it and put it back in the case, right? My hands are all over it. So I've never understood that his DNA was on the rifle. Well, of course it was. Moron. It's his rifle. His DNA was on the screwdriver. Well, it was his screwdriver, Nimrod. Fed slop, man. It tastes terrible. It is disgusting. Disgusting. With the discrepancies between some of what EK and AK have said. Any chance he didn't know what was going to happen to CK? Maybe he was filled in after the fact and now has to go along with the narrative. Let me let you in on a secret. You know I talk to people inside TPUSA. One of them has given me great information about AK and that day. I won't go any farther than that. I've debated whether to contact him and ask him about it. I have his number. Thought about texting him and saying, hey, is this true? Because if it's true, it raises one of only 2 possibilities. One is there was, in fact, a plan to delete Charlie Kirk from this planet. Or 2, there was some other things going on Charlie didn't want to know about. Or they didn't want Charlie to know about. They've got a real problem with their employment base. Unless they fire everyone who works there, they're never going to find these leagues. I don't know if I'm going to reach out to him on it or not. I've debated. Daisy's encouraged me to. You reach out. But I don't know. Sam Tripoli on Danny Jones said World War I was to carve out Palestine from the Ottoman Empire. World War II was to push Jews to Israel. World War III is for the Greater Israel Project. Not a terrible interpretation. I mean, I think there were other things going on. Like, I don't think Japan was in on that. That certainly was the effect and will be the effect of World War III. It's her, 100%. Roger. Dan Flood was so worried about how quietly they could get the autopsy done because I think they only had the compromised coroner there the day of the shooting. So you're talking about Brian Harpole, not Dan Flood. I think, unless Dan Flood's been on the record somewhere I haven't seen. But on was it the Sean Ryan show where he said that, or was it Gary? I don't remember exactly where he said it. He said something about, I don't want this to turn into a conspiracy theory. I don't want it to be like JFK, or I think it was JFK. I think I'm talking. I think it was Sean Ryan. And I thought that was strange at the time, but looking back, it's even stranger because if Charlie had been shot at an ATM, he was going and getting a 20 out to go to McDonald's, right? And he'd gotten just mugged and shot. Would anybody be like, oh, we got to get an autopsy done? I don't want there to be a conspiracy. Well, if it was so obvious he was shot with a 30-06 from 142 yards away, if there's no issues, why are you even wondering if there's an issue? I guess is the better point. How is that what you're concerned about on that day? He should have never gone on that show. Whoever cleared that was dumb. Made a huge move. Huge mistake. I like Barron in a mood. It's my favorite Barron. What mood? I mean, a good mood is a mood. Wait, we need a Scooby-Doo ending. Pull the mask off, old man Withers. TK loves you all. We love you, TK. Thank you. Can't they use FISA to catch young people transportation crews? You assume they want to. I assume they could. Notice they don't. Kushner segment one day, please. Where, why, how? He frightens me. Can't stop wondering. Trying to put me in danger? You know, I have enemies. You sound like one of them right now. Rick Cutler is an expert in ballistics acoustics. It said on TPUSA website, unless they changed it, used way back to find, if so. Clip that. Really? Said that on the TPUSA website. Why was Rick Cutler on the TPUSA website? I thought he was a contractor. Hi, Baron, joining late today. Hi, Utkudza 4877. I was in church. A friend baptized her baby girl. I'll catch up on the whole show later. Thank you for all you do. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Congratulations to the newbie. Hope you guys threw a party. I can't put my finger on what's going on with Trump. Perhaps all the demonic activity in the White House and surrounding D.C. Christ is King. Peace be with you all. And peace be with you. Christ is King indeed. I think there's a lot of demonic activity. I really genuinely think there's a lot of demonic activity. Yo, B, best darn mods ever. I'm not going to say anything about the hoodie color matching the beard. But you did. Love you, bro. God bless you and your wonderful family. God is great. Because of that, I'm going to allow it. God is great indeed. I will allow it, Ivan. I know you get a little squirrely sometimes, though. Did you ever pull up the clip from the Friday, the one for 9/15/25, and who he may or may not be with us? Thoughts? And he who may or may not be with us. 9/15/25. I don't know what you're talking about. Did you ever pull up the clip from Friday? The one for, I don't know what you're talking about. I wish I did. I'm not trying to hide anything. Hey, Baron, I'm on to 11-year-old triplet boys. That's a nightmare to me. I mean, Matt, congratulations. Congrats. I bet that was easy. Could never seem to catch a live show. Wanted to say I love your humor and investigative work. Hey, I love your comments and congratulations on the triplets. I was always terrified of twins. You know, when you don't have any, you don't worry about it. But once you got a few kids, you think, man, twins would really throw a wrench in everything. Triplets? Forget about it. Congrats. They don't like the term older women now. It's cougar. How do you know that? How do you know that? We cannot let any of them get into office. It's almost unbelievable. The vast amount of different kinds of pure evil going on right now. There's no way we're letting this go ever. Does the Harvey back and forth text remind anyone of the airplane movie? Listen, Betty, don't start the white zone again. I don't know what that means. I've seen Airplane, but it's not since I was like 10. I remember where he made a plane or made something out of origami. And I remember when he said the plane looked like Tylenol and an old lady was speaking jive. Like, I remember a few things. Surely you can't be serious. I mean, I remember some of the stuff, but I think I've seen those clips. I don't know that I remember it from watching it. Baron can't be bought. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, throw me $100 million and we'll talk. I'll be honest, but I'll tell you guys. I won't like lie to you. I'll be like, guys, I'm going off the air. Someone gave me $100 million. Shut up. Good night. Good luck. You do the same. I'm kidding. I called Social Security twice, and both times I had to ask the person where they were located because I couldn't understand them. They were in India. Talk about make me angry. Crisis King indeed. That's a job that should go to Americans. Talking to elderly Americans about their Social Security should be a job. That American. We need some I'm Famous Tilly merch for our fur babies. Hey, somebody sent me some Tilly merch. I got collars, bow ties. It was great. I don't have it in here. I'll show you. But yeah, it took her a second to get used to it. She's not accustomed to it. Not accustomed at all to it. There was a little rolling around and a lot of shaking. Maybe the defense just wanted to create a stir around the bullet fragment, knowing that their motion would just be dismissed anyway. I don't know about that. Thank you for your good work. I really enjoyed it. By the way, a boss name isn't used by Christians in the Middle East. Is that true? Was that true in the 1950s? Your hair looks nice. Opening statements are legendary. Thank you. I guess. Thank you. Mark's planning to address mentality of nothing to worry about if I'm not guilty. You enter a public restroom and close the door. People know what's up, but it doesn't need to be watched and broadcast. Oh, it does not need to be watched and broadcast. You ever go to those old, like Auburn used to do this, and it's just like a trough, and you got to just pee in it with everybody else? It's a little weird. If we're being honest. A little weird. High probability Tucker takedown started after his Huckabee interview and recent interview with the Catholic California Congresswoman about Zionism. I would assume it started before that. I'm sorry about coming at you in regards to Trump presidency this term. I digress. Why has no one come forward regarding seeing something on that freeway? Law enforcement or civilians? Something has to have seen someone. Someone has to have seen something. Well, law enforcement can't because it's an active investigation. They're not going to be allowed to talk about it. Social media, public surveillance, flock cameras, digital ID, digital currency will build a detailed profile of everyone. They will be able to freeze your money. In Tucker's interview of Catherine Phipps, they discuss global banking power. Your thoughts? It's terrifying. That's my thought. It's terrifying. I don't disagree with anything you said, and it's terrifying. You know, get yourself a pew-pew, water filtration, the ability to grow and eat food. You might need it one day. An old truck that's not tied to the internet. Trump, Hegseth, etc. Hold, please. Perhaps demonic activity in D.C. and White House. I used to like them. Christ is King. Peace be with you all. Christ is King, indeed. Yeah, I agree with you. Baron, behind on the show and going around and around with my parents over the war and our greatest ally. Tips on opening their eyes. Thank you for all you do. You and CO are the best dynamic duo. Just be honest, be loving and honest and kind. But don't hide. Don't hide. In a show last week, you mentioned the need for a name for particular generational years. There's one, Exennials. Those born between 77 and 83. I was unaware of that. I don't like that name. It's low budget. We need a better name. Like the Betweeners or something. Baron, 2 R's? Jamie. I'll allow it. If they arrest Tucker, I'll be so bummed out. I'll be more than bummed out. Now I'm wondering what was in the mint container brought to Harpole. Maybe a fragmented bullet. Why wouldn't he just have that in his pocket the whole time, though? Did we ever figure out if the Farnsworth on the defense is related to Terrell Farnsworth? I think we did. I think it's either a cousin or an uncle or distant. A couple of not a brother. Might explain the moves being made if they aren't in TR's interest. Potentially. Originally from Athens, Georgia. Everyone unhappy about EK and Vance coming. Speaking of protests on the local Facebook pages, asks if they're sharing Airbnb. I doubt it. Finished Rome Sweet Home. Wonderful book. Thank you for the recommendation. You're welcome, Ian. It was a great book. I thought it was fantastic. Took red pill. Discovered deep state. CK off. Took another red pill. Discovered excessive influence from Philadelphia. No more red pills, please. Oh, we got them by the bushel. We've got them by the bushel. The saying Big Brother's watching goes all the way back to the 60s. I'm an old boomer, never as true as it is these days, though. Thank you for all your great work, Baron and Daisy. Crisis King indeed. I think it even goes back farther than that, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't he write that book earlier than the 60s? Could the bullet frag just be too small to be conclusive either way, so it doesn't prove it's not from the gun? Just can't be counted on for evidence, and they'll have to prove the case without ballistics. Well, we can't conclude the size, but we can conclude it was inconclusive. By that, we can say they're definitely not saying it's from the gun. They're also definitely not saying it's not from the gun. It's inconclusive. But you can't match the gun to the crime. Nothing matching it. Love this community. Sir, I own all my music. I buy, not rent. I have a friend in the not such agency. Won't say anything about Philadelphia. I bet he won't. Or she. I bet he won't. New here. What episode was the burn on Charlie Kirk's right chest? Well, we've talked about it a lot. I've not shown the image, so you're not missing anything. But welcome to the program. I think Baby Vid from 2024, he went on I don't think so. I think it's been conclusively proven it's from this week. And why would he be talking about the 5 fingers back 2 years ago? I don't agree with that. I lost my brother last night, Baron. Your show has helped me get by today. His name was Justin. Please say a prayer for me and my family. I love you, man. Thank you for being you. Golly, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's so devastating. I'm so sorry for your loss. Pray for Justin's soul, for the repose of his soul, and pray for you as well. I hope others will join me. I'm so sorry to hear that. So, outrage over FISA text messages, but DJT enabled EM, not from USA, citizen in 3 other countries, in good with China, and Molt Putin. I don't know what that emoji is. And his Doge to access all the data via SSA, TREZ, OPM, HHS, Department of Education, Department of Labor, Labor Relations Board, CISA, NOAA, and FEMA. Where's the outrage? Yeah, I mean, legitimate government employees have a right to access information, and they're bound by certain confidentiality. What Rosemary Collyer was referencing were people who did not have a right under law. They were supposed to be forbidden from accessing that information. They did access it, and they shared it. That's a little different scenario, but I understand your concern. I get it. How do you really feel about Erica, and do you think she's qualified to lead this company, and why she's doing the opposite of what Charlie wanted for the company? I've answered that many times. I've answered that many times. So I think she's wholly incompetent. I have evidence from inside the organization that she's not a factor. She's not leading the company. The company's running without her. And I don't know what else to say about it. Continued responses from blind people who believe TR pewed CK and refused to listen to reason. They want him to fry. This fight can feel defeating. Yeah, I always hated that. Every crime that comes up, they're like, oh, she's been charged, she's guilty. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. You don't know any facts. You've seen no evidence. You read a newspaper article. On behalf of the US F1 fan, please start an F1 show. There's plenty of them. You don't want to hear my takes. It'll just be a Max fest. Max and Alonso is all you're going to hear about. Sergeant David Hall came off sounding uninformed and unprepared during the February 3, 2026 hearing. What do you think? I agree. Sounded a little unprepared for the hearing, certainly. You see where Charlie and Erica mentioned that Erica's OBGYN died. Maybe says, I keep hearing that, but no one sends me a link to it. Send me a link. I'd like to read about it. I'd like to see where they said that. I don't know. And I don't know why that would be suspicious. I know nothing. I don't even know the man's name or woman's name. I have no idea how to evaluate that. Loose end if her pregnancies were suspicious. Love your show. Thanks for all you do. Well, thank you. But yeah, if you have evidence of that, realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Behind on the live, but I just want to say a quick thank you. We watch every show. I'm praying for you and the family. Also, Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Thanks for the kind words. Just because. Have a blessed day. Well, you have a blessed day, Kathy. I made the walk from my man cave to the home office desktop, and YouTube still wouldn't, not couldn't, but wouldn't let me gift memberships. So use this instead. What I'll do is I'll arrange on a future live to gift 5 memberships for that. How about that? I'll figure out how to do that from my end. So thank you. Roll that beautiful bean footage. We'll make sure it gets in the right hands. Fuzzy Logic programmed to scan for truckers. Feds realize they can't pew-pew anyone. They have to make a story. Is this September 1 for Tucker? To scan for Tuckers. Feds realize they can't pew-pew anymore. They have to make a story. Oh, I think they can if they want to. But yeah, maybe. Love you, Baron, and your truth-seeking integrity. Hubby watching tonight with me tonight. He wants to know if you know what PF flyers are. Says you can use this money to get you some. Apparently, he compares you to the jet. Keep going, Max. Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you too. PF flyers. Oh, well, those are nice shoes. I've never seen those before. Grounder high top military green black sneaker. Oh, I like the black ones. I don't hate them. I don't know where I'd wear them. My shoe, I either wear cowboy boots or Vans. That's typically what I wear. Doo-doo kickers, they call them, or Vans, or CrossFit shoes if I'm working out. So that's kind of my shoe selection. It's pretty sparse. But I'll check into those. Thank you. Thank you for gifting those. JFK and CK autopsies both fixed to fit the narrative. Yeah, I don't think it'd be hard to fix an autopsy unless there are a ton of photos, maybe videos. Whatever happened to the Egyptian plane story? Wrong podcast. I never really covered the Egyptian plane story much. It wasn't my expertise. Didn't have the time to look into it, and others were, so I just kind of deferred to them. MG, Tucker is totally disingenuous and is obviously a CIA operative. I mean, that's an opinion. I like your username. Erica Tight Leather Pants Kirk. I like the username, but I mean, I don't know about that. How laser detonator work? It's your theory. Yeah, so I don't know how it works. I haven't looked into it, but I do have a theory that the necklace may have been pre-charged, maybe, or had some sort of explosive device planted in it, and some sort of external device could hit it, whether it's, this is something I haven't really shared on air, but whether it's a laser or whether it's an energy beam or something that we maybe didn't even know exists, is focused on that at just the right moment, and it fires it off into his neck. That's something I've thought about, but I've got no evidence to support it, so I have not discussed it. But when I watch that necklace move, I think that's not normal. That's not normal. Have I seen the t-shirts? They make it 1984 fiction again. I have. Constant surveillance is so troubling. Agreed. I have seen it, and it is troubling. No doubt about it. Baron, thank you for the truth. Will you please wish my 86-year-old mom happy birthday? You're the mom. Oh, man, I'm terrible trouble now. You have an 86-year-old mom watching? Did she watch the part where I talked about the 86-year-olds? Oh, no. This is a nightmare scenario. Ma'am, I was kidding. You look spry. Happy birthday. I hope you celebrate many more. I'll do the rest of the show from this hole down here. BB looks too young in that coffee video. It could be makeup. I mean, it could be fake. I don't know. I just don't think it is. Baron, I've worked from home for 10 years. Your podcast helps me stay sane. Thank you. The work you and your team put in is admirable. Thank you from Canberra, Australia. You know who else was from Canberra, Australia? Was or who worked there? Was Wal Thornhill. Wal Thornhill. I really like him. He's dead now. I liked him when he was alive. Wonder if they want to keep private so doesn't see the public doesn't see the throw in the case. Prosecution TPSA pretending to want public should not look sus. Yeah, it's a theory. Thank you, Baron, for your opening. Your opening statements always teach me something new and send me down a rabbit hole. That's a good one to go down. The one today. Did I see Wolves in Finance video today? Ominous. No, I didn't. I did not. Love to see dash cam footage of the cop behind SUV. CK was in. I would too, but I'm assuming we can't have access to it because of the because it's an active investigation. They're not going to release police records. Tucker's dad was CIA, correct? So is Tucker. I mean, I've heard the theory, but I just don't know that I'll buy it. Baron, can you please turn the closed captioning on? I cannot. I've tried. In order to do it, it has to have a tremendous delay built in, and or you have to pay someone to do it yourself. I can't afford it. Costs more than you can imagine. And for 3-4 hours of closed captioning is thousands of dollars every day, and I cannot afford it. And to turn it on, the delay is so long, the latency is so long that it loses the interaction with the audience. So I'm not going to do that. I've looked into it. I would love to do it. I am hearing impaired. Wear hearing aids. I mean, I get it. I can't hear. I mean, I have to crank everything up, but I'm sorry. I just can't. I apologize. Ivermectin in Tennessee is over the counter, no prescription. The governor and legislature made that law. Netanyahu is dead. They will announce it tomorrow. I mean, maybe he is, but I've not seen evidence of it. His absence and his son's absence was remarkable, and in his son's case still is remarkable, but you might be right. My belief is that it was attached microphone and handheld one along with the U.S. Gov and our friends. I'm not suicidal. I don't think it's a crazy theory. Thought about you and Mass this morning with the reading from Ephesians 5:8-14. Thank you for bringing light to darkness. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. I heard that very reading. Something other people may not know is our readings are all the same. Unless you go to Latin Mass, then they're different. But Shabbat Lubitsch is behind all of it at the end. Maybe. Sorry, I've covered. Did you ever hear the audio that Mr. Let Go and X Project Constitution put out? Erica Telcall. No, I did. I've addressed that. Thank you for and Project Constitution came out and said he doesn't think it's her after he put it up. So why would I think it's her if the guy who released the audio doesn't think it's her? Thank you for being a man of integrity. I appreciate and thank you for all your hard work. Keep going, Max, and speaking truth. You have my support always. You have wonderful mods who do a phenomenal job. Jesus loves you all. Thank you. We rotate the mods out so that it doesn't put too much pressure on any of them. And I have people that are like, hey, can I be a mod? I don't need 25. So I just pull 5 out, put 5 new ones in. But they generally, do a good job. So thank you. Thank you for that vote of confidence. The putting concrete or whatever on the crime scene is all you need to know. That and the kid taking SIM cards. Yeah. Both very damning. Both very damning. Surgical team, lead surgeon are responsible for closing up and cleaning the body to get ready for the morgue. I did not know that. See, you teach me new things. That's why we have a good community here. Bullet could have definitely been planted if the surgeon wasn't allowed back in the room. Now if that's true, that's interesting. Baron, you're a wonderful father. God bless you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm doing my best over here, guys. Hey, Baron. Man. Hey, Baron, man. I'm Baron, man. At least I'm not B-Dog anymore. I've upgraded. I'm back to being human. New footage shows a guy on the left of CK, so the official trajectory of the bullet would be very difficult. Roof more on the left side. GBY. I don't know what GBY means. That's not new footage. That's been out a while. Kelly Rabin, I think, was the one who first spotted that. It looked like somebody potentially moving off the Losi Center, maybe. I mean, not the Losi Center, the Sorensen building, Sorensen Center, whatever it's called. I think that was Kelly. So no, that's not new. Planted round or possibly faked autopsy report. Many suspicions. New hires with the power in that area before the Big Bang. Doctors, agents, judges, etc. Love your show. Keep up the good work. Christ is king indeed. Has anyone tried to FOIA the dash cam video from the dispatch with him hanging out, or would they not release that? Yeah, I don't think they would release that. I mean, you can try. It's called a grama request in GRAMA, grama request in Utah. You're more than welcome to try. Let me know if you get it. I'll be happy to give you all the credit in the world if you can track that down. Email it to me at realbaronpodcast@gmail.com, but I don't think you'll get it. Someone new placed CK's microphone that day. What if it was placed over the cross to drive it into his chest from the charge? A wound in his neck could be a piece of link from his chain acting as shrapnel. So a couple things about that. One is that was not a new person placing the microphone. It was a guy named Philip Goldsberry Jr. We reported that several months ago, 2 or 3 months ago. The microphone was placed in the same spot up here. It was not near his chain. The chain was down here, or the pendants were down there. So I don't know that I agree with that. Sending love from Arkansas. Wait a minute. Arkansas, but you're Arkansans. Is that right? Didn't we cover this once? In church today, Pastor talked about Frank Turk as an author, and now I feel like I need to inquire about his thoughts on him. And I love my pastor. You should love your pastor. And I hope look, I watch some of Frank Turk's videos because they're like his older ones, particularly when he's traveling and pointing out cool sights and stuff. They're not bad. They're not bad. Not everything someone does is terrible just because they were involved in potentially a murder and cover-up. All right. Now I'm teary. Thanks a lot. Oh, Edge, thank you. Thank you. Have you seen the show Person of Interest? I have not. I don't know that I've even heard of it. Have I? I don't know. Hi, Baron. On Blake Bednar's Friday the 13th, Part 2 episode. He played the old Sean Ryan, Brian Harpole interview at 4:47:35. Brian Harpole says, "You've seen shaped explosives and things like that." LOL, I missed that. Yeah, I missed that too. I didn't see Blake's show. I missed that. I'll have to go back and watch that. Thanks for the pointing me in that direction. Do you suggest VPN or accept forever monitoring? You're being monitored either way. We need high IQ folks to move to Utah for better jury pool. Yeah, and I wouldn't move my family to potentially be one out of 100,000 people maybe selected for a jury pool. Your BB voice had me absolutely shooketh. That was terrifying. I just what I think he hears every day. That's what I think he hears. I think they wanted Tucker's video in Philly. Remember, the person they tried to keep was the guy who had to fly commercial with equipment. They heard interview, knew it was bad, and were going to destroy keep film. Potentially. Erica Kirk was born in 88. She would have been 18 when that was recorded. It's probably not her, though. By the way, thank you for making my day better. Well, thank you for making my day better. Surrendered. I appreciate that. I agree with you. It's probably not her. Trump not back on the wall yet. Emailed you about that. Linda from Indiana. Thank you, Linda. Aaron, I'm worried. Jesus was basically the same back in the day as Charlie is to us today. No, he was not. Let's not compare Charlie to Jesus. Let's not compare any human to Jesus. Maybe that's why they don't believe he's the real Christ, because they were the ones that gave him to us. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't follow that second sentence, but I go easy on the comparisons of people to Jesus. I mean, Charlie was a nice guy. And he seemed to be pretty faithful and articulate with his faith, and inspired a lot of people to get back in churches, which is admirable. But Let's be real easy on the J-Man comparisons. I watched the members show on Friday, but it seems to have missed the merch launch or website. What is the website, please? No, you didn't miss it. It's my fault. I'm the final piece of having to put in a password to connect, and I have not had time to do that. So bear with me. It's coming. Everything's ready. Everything's done. Your humble host is too busy doing shows to log in and take care of that one final piece. I will get it. I promise. I will get it. Okay, ladies, my bad. All the women I've talked to always say, call them a cougar. They even the claws coming out. I see why now. Oh, don't do that. I was about an hour behind. Watched on 1.9 speed and have caught up. It feels so slow now. P.S. Recording is Haley Robson. Sounds a lot like EK with a bit of a southern accent. IMO. Sorry, I had to. I got a dad humor. I can't help it. Young baby boomers are Generation Jones. We have a ways to go yet. Oh, I've never heard of that. I've still been here every show, but wasn't able to donate, so wanted to give what I can and say hi. Always thankful for what you and others are doing. Hope you and the family are doing well. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Thank you for the generosity. I appreciate it. And y'all, please say a prayer. My good friend and neighbor just passed away. She was such a sweetheart, but had some health issues. They think she had a heart attack. I'm sorry to hear that. One of the things about a community is we celebrate our successes. Hey, someone's going back to church. Good. We celebrate. Someone celebrating a month or a year of sobriety. Great. We celebrate. But part of being in a community is there's loss inevitably. And we've had a couple people share that tonight, and it's always tough to hear, but I'm thankful that you feel comfortable enough with us to feel comfortable sharing those tragedies with us, and they are. And I'm sorry you're going through that. New here, the censorship from last week drove me to become a member and go back and like every single show. I'm of 10 with only 8 grand. Christ is King. Thank you. I appreciate that. Christ is King indeed. Thank you for your very generous contribution. Yeah, what happened last week was bizarre. I think I've got an answer, but still working on some finality with them about that. You have thoughts on the Einstein audio with John Mappin named regarding trafficking Operation Orchid 1989? I haven't seen anyone talking about it. EFTA 000935515. I've not seen that. I'll have to look at that. Clip that. I'll check that out. Yeah, active investigation. Yeah, active. I'm curious what Brandon and Billy learned from Hunter Kozak, so I'll pick them on X. Hit the like. Yeah, what's funny is they told me they were going out with him. And I said, okay, well, I know you're probably not going to talk about Charlie Kirk, but, and I get this huge list of questions I would have for him, just in case it came up. And then they told me they texted in the middle of the night, said, we'll debrief. And then I got any debrief. Ladies, if you're watching, your humble host is still requesting his debrief. Hello, Baron. First time ever on a super chat. You didn't want to say more podcasts that have changed? How about PBD podcast? Changed. How about PBD podcast? What do they have on Adam? I don't know. There has been a little difference there as well. Since Candace watches this is for her. I need another Standis tumbler, please. Oh, and again, thank you, B, for brightening my bad day. Candace, we have a request. We need a Standis tumbler. Stat. Baron, what a poem you wrote. Such a treasure. Thank you for sharing with us. Oh, thank you. Please keep an eye on weather. Severe storms heading that way. Stay safe, everyone. Really? I'm looking. Hold, please. Still looking. Oh my goodness. You're right. That's where the cold weather's coming from. I saw it was going to be cold the next couple of days. Must be a cold front moving through. Looks like we've got an hour or so left, maybe. I'd have to dust out the tornado shelter. Ephesians 5:11. That was read at Mass today. Believe it or not. That was read at Mass. I know it was. I'm pretty confident. I'll be the judge of that. Take no part in the fruitless works of darkness, rather expose them. Yeah, that was read at Mass today. All over the globe. Trump was financed by Jabad through the Adelsons. Kushner and Netanyahu are That same organization is everywhere. Shabbat shalom. Yeah, I got to be careful saying that word a lot. Apparently, that's a trigger. We've already said it 2 or 3 times. I don't know anything about them, though. That's the thing. That's not a rabbit hole I've gone down. Maybe I will. You and Candace are my faves. I'm going to a conspiracy party. You need a suggestion for a conspiracy to present? I must reign supreme. Cool conspiracy that you could present at a party that won't be replicated. Cool conspiracy. I don't know how much, I mean, this is kind of complex. It's not really that cool. Nixon being removed by the deep state because he was about to reveal who killed JFK, but that's kind of boring. I mean, something, if you're just going for like cool value to tell a cool story, look up the Egyptian power plant, the Giza power plant. It's a cool thing, and I think there's merit to it. And it'd be fun, and it'd be easy to present. People understand what a power plant is. They know the Great Pyramid, so you're not teaching them anything they're not already aware of, but you're putting it together. It's a cool story. Giza power plant. Giza power plant. They want to rule us all under the no-eyed law. Okay, I believe you. Trump is off the wall. You just figured that out? Been like 5 shows, maybe more. I was a federal employee for over 40 years. I worked with amazing, brilliant people who swore an oath to the U.S. Constitution. Please know federal employees are on your side. They know more than everyone. I believe a lot of them are. I believe in all. Could an EMP have set off a charge in Charlie's necklace? Potentially, but I mean, wouldn't that have destroyed all the rest of the electronics at the facility? I don't know. Alex Clark blocked me when I called her out. She's the worst. I'm so sad with what TPUSA has become. You're doing great work, Baron. Keep up. We support you. Man, I wish y'all knew what I knew about Alex Clark and the way that internals at TPUSA thought about her. I guarantee you she thinks they like her more than they do. I guarantee you she thinks they like her more than they do. Have you considered how replacement theory impacts the CK investment in Utah when it comes to investigation in Utah when it comes to LDS community and their view of Israel? So there's no replacement theory is BS. It doesn't exist. No serious church, no theologian has ever taught that. What you're talking about is fulfillment. And what that means is God chose the Jews, the Hebrews, the Israelites, whatever you want to call them. God chose this special group of people, said, these are going to be my people. I'm going to institute a law. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to have scriptures written, and we're going to have we're going to get all this stuff going, and we're going to build up to a Messiah figure that's going to then open this up to the rest of the world. I've got to get a group with credibility. I've got to build, refine, develop, grow, nurture. And then when the time is right, I will bring a Messiah, and that Messiah will bring my message to all of humanity. That is Christianity in a nutshell. That's what we believe. I'm not saying you have to believe it. I'm not saying, I'm just saying that's Christianity. That's Christian theology in a nutshell. The idea being that Christ is the fulfillment of that ancient religion, of the religion of the Hebrews, the Israelites, the Jews, whatever you want to call them. Now, that fulfillment is what we follow. It's called Christianity, meaning Christianity is not separate from Judaism. It's not separate from the ancient religion of the Hebrews and the Israelites. It is the religion. It's the fulfillment of that religion. And if it is indeed the fulfillment, as we believe, if we're right, you don't need the old system. That's Christianity. That's just Christian theology. People call it replacement theology to create some 2-track system where you can follow Christ or you could just follow the old law. That was not the message of Peter, Paul, and James. That's not what their message was. Did I miss you commenting on Ted Cruz saying Christ is King is anti-Semitism? No, you didn't miss it. It doesn't merit comment to me. If so, I'm 61 and can't help it. Keep up the great work. God bless, and Christ is King for sure. Yeah, Christ is King. Anyone who says that's anything negative at all is ludicrous. It's just a genuine statement of the Christian faith. He died with the words, Jesus Christ, King of the Jews, above his head. If Christianity is to be believed. They put it on a placard above his head. All we're doing is stating what was written above him as he died. Please pray for the 13 U.S. servicemen and 13 service members just lost their life. Did 13 service members just lose their life? I hope not. I don't see that. I only see the 6. It was just new and just not. Oh, crash brings the U.S. death toll in Operation Epic Fury to at least 13 service members with 7 others killed in combat. Yeah. Tragic. 1996 Telecom Act mandated direct digital access to telecom carrier switchboards by government where they could tap without a warrant, then use parallel construction. It's how they got Elliot Spitzer. Got to go rewatch The Chosen now. I've not seen it. Heard it's good. Can you share some what the TP employee disclosed to you? I did. Brandon Tatum's insufferable to work with. Alex Clark is a diva and thinks she's way more important and popular than she is. She refuses things that they set up for her. I mean, I could. Tucker got fired from Fox News over text messages. That's not why he got fired. That was the excuse. It's my puppy Roxy's 6-month-old birthday today. She wants Tilly to have a piece of her birthday cake and a special party favor. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. I will say this. You treat your dogs better than I do. My dog's 3-ish. I have no idea. I think we arbitrarily assigned her a birthday. Guys, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful Sunday evening. If you're in the path of weather, stay safe. If you've already had the weather, I hope it spared you. If you're not going to have weather, get outside and enjoy the sunshine. Middle of the night here, but wherever you are, maybe tomorrow. But stay safe. Stay in search of truth. And always remember Jesus loves you. Always remember Jesus loves you. I appreciate you guys being here. Have a good night. Getting a night's sleep. Today technically started a week, but tomorrow starts a new work week. Monday's always the best day. You grab Monday by the horns and you make it submit to your will. The rest of the week's a lot smoother. So start out with a bang. I'll be back tomorrow night, I believe. In the meantime, have a good night.